Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well. And look at this, straight into it. No countdown, nothing, people. Let's get straight into it because I'm sick and tired of being late. All right, I am. But hope you're all doing well, everyone. Hope you're all keeping safe, having a wonderful week so far. Well, what, Wednesday already? Yeah, forgot it was bank holiday. You know, I lose track of the days in this time of the year. But here I am bringing you another Chelsea watch along. Chelsea versus Tottenham. Chelsea, you're getting all of it at the moment, aren't you? We did the Chelsea Liverpool one, and guess what? You know what, people? I've got someone here. He's in the background. I can see him. He was on for the previous one. But let me bring him in, and then we'll get right into your comments and then lineups and everything. Hanif, my brother.
How we doing? You all right? Yes.
Yeah, not too bad. I'm seeing your face a bit too much, man.
I know you see me more than my wife does.
Hey, that's what I was about to say. I've seen you more than I've seen my family in recent times. Do you know what I mean? But how you doing, man? How you keeping?
I'm good. Everyone, please subscribe, please follow, and please send your comments.
I appreciate that. Yeah, getting a lot of questions for Hanif because, you know, he'll answer them for you. He's not afraid of answering no questions. So here we are, Chelsea versus Tottenham. But let me get into the comments right now. We've got Paxton. Big up yourself, Paxton. I'm glad to have you back. As he says, back from my little hiatus. At least this will distract me from my Manchester United pain. Paxton, I'm glad to have you back, man. And
should we discuss the Man United a little bit?
Oh, I don't know. We might lose Paxton for a little bit. You know what? We'll leave Man United tonight. I'm sure there'll be plenty of time to talk about them. We'll probably still will get into them at some point at half time. Or, you know, there's always news about Manchester United. But Paxton, just a big shout out to you because you actually did get a correct score in the last preview. I'm not sure if you caught it. Go watch it back. Me and Ed gave you a big shout out. Tishi M is in the place as well. Nice seeing you, sis. We've got Rich in the place. And evening, everyone. We've got Luke. Big up yourself, Luke, Spurs fan. A Spurs fan that I actually like, and he's giving me a new subscriber. Thank you very much, Luke, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, big up Luke. I'll definitely catch up with Luke after. I am afraid because they've got Conte, man. I am afraid.
Hey, he's not feeling confident.
I'm not. It's Conte, man. The guy knows what he's doing, and look what he's done with those mediocre players like Davis and Winks, man. He's making them look amazing.
Yeah, tell me about it. For real, that's what he does. Though he did it with Victor Moses, didn't he? Though, underneath, and those.
Yeah, it's surprising that we gave Sanchez a bit of stick, but he's the one that scored the winning goal in their last game.
Exactly. Yeah, we was there criticizing him, but scoring the winner and keeping a clean sheet. And we got Brush in the place as well. Big up yourself, Brush, and listen to that, man. # Popcorn Gang. Hit that like. Button.
Big up.
If I had a soundboard here, you know, like how KG does, I could get one sorted. I mean, I got the stream deck. I just need to get the audio and that. Big up yourself. Is that Graham? Is that the boy Graham? And he says, "Big up T. Where's the Don? Where's YouTube Don Hanif?"
I'm here. I'm making tea.
Oh, he's making tea. I like to hear that. And you see, guys, when he says he's making tea, get to know he's making the drink, not dinner, because we don't call it tea here. It's called dinner, but I know he's making the drink. We've got Grace, her Chelsea fan, is back here. She says hello. We've got Crystal Palace fan Jay. Casey's back, and Grace is a bit nervous. Are you the same there, Hanif? Are you nervous too?
Definitely. Listen, this guy was. I would say he's a legend because he won the league for us. Simple as that. Managers don't stay long at Chelsea, and those that win titles for us, we remember them. And you know what? I still don't understand what he's doing at Tottenham. Honestly, Tereak, it doesn't make any sense.
I know what you
mean. It doesn't make any. It doesn't. I don't understand why he would go there unless something big's gonna happen. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but Mourinho went there, but it was a different circumstance, though, wasn't it? Mourinho was in a different point in his career, whereas Conte's just come off of that. Literally, he's probably at his highest now, about his peak. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe Conte looked at it. Listen, he's still going to be a big manager, and how much money? It depends, how much investment he's going to get because he's only there for 18 months, and if he was there for 3 years and he was given 2 big transfer windows, he could possibly make that Tottenham side into a very good team. And sure. I don't think I think a lot of Tottenham fans, if they win some this season, they're gonna want Conte to extend his contract because this guy's been here for a set amount of time, and we've already won a trophy, so it'd be silly not to extend his contract. But I think bigger fish are gonna come calling if he wins something with this Spurs team.
Oh yeah, you are right in that way.
Just remember, Tereak, Manchester United do not have a manager next season. That's all I'm gonna say.
Do you think they'll pull the plug on the whole Rangnick situation?
I think Rangnick's only signed until the end of the season, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's moving up in the hierarchy, and I can't see Conte being a Rangnick.
Yeah, but he's a consultant, though, isn't he? Yeah. I'm just saying it's possible, unless what's his name? He keeps on hanging around their technical area, their technical director. Is it Fletcher? Is that his name?
That's the one. I've seen quite a few United fans.
I'm just saying, I've never seen Chelsea's technical director, Arsenal's, City's. I've never seen them be so involved. Yeah. And this guy's, unless his role has changed, but I would not be surprised if even he might become United's next manager. Anything's possible at Manchester United at this moment in time.
It's true. And let me just get through the rest of the comments. Make sure people, I ain't forgetting you. I'm not forgetting you, Niall. Big up yourself, Niall. And watch long settings. Is that what we're on? Say nothing. Yeah, listen, you know it, Jay. Conte will be organised, but how highly does he rank this competition? I think he'll rank it high. We've got Steve in the place. T, what's up, man? Us Gooners need to be rooting to see Chelsea in the cup final, right? We own them in the cup finals. Hey, Hanif, what have you got to say about that?
It depends if you include the Europa League in that. If you don't include Europe, then it's a different matter altogether, isn't it?
He's got us, Steve. He's got us. Balogun to Borough, Moss. Hey, I know that. I saw that. Big up Moss. Yep. Flo Balogun.
That'd be good. That'd be a good move. I've always said that young lads should always go on loan. If the system works, why would you not use it? Like Greenwood should have gone on loan a couple of years. When they discovered him. Yeah, that's an example in my opinion. And I think this kid, he seems to be doing too well in that under 23 system or whatever it's called. Sure. So send him out. If he gets 10 championship goals, just for example, that's amazing. Plus the experience that goes with that. So why not?
Exactly. There you go. And big up Moss himself. Balogun to Borough. Booster today. I'm guessing he's had his booster. Tereak, you've gone from wearing a Tottenham coloured baseball hat to Newcastle. Are you sure you're a gunner? Hey, it's not a Tottenham coloured one. Casey, I thought you'd have known this. It's a bruised banana. You know about the bruised banana, don't you, Hanif?
No, it looks like a Spurs hat to me.
Get lost. Look, you're as bad as Casey. Stop trying to get me to bite. What else we got here? What else? We got Laura as well. Big up yourself, Laura.
You're all right, Laura. How are you?
Way Tereak becoming my second favourite Arsenal supporter. I love that. Obviously, after the Don himself, but love to see that, Laura. Big up, and we got Roland in the place as well. Big up, my guys. I think I've gone through all the comments of people. Guys, keep chucking them in. Apologies if I've missed them. We will get through them. Me and Hanif definitely will.
Any predictions are welcome. Please do share your predictions with us. We'd love to know what you think and who's the most unlikeliest player to score. Let's go with that one.
As you can see, the lineups are here. And do you know what, Hanif? I'll give you the honours of reading out the Chelsea one. Oh, let me sort that out.
Yeah, we've got, whenever we say our goalkeeper's name, they should just put Kepa. It's easier. But Ariza Balaga, Aspi, Sa, Rudiger, Alonso. I can't believe we're playing 4-2-3-1 finally, but I don't like that 4-2-3-1. Jorginho, Saul Niguez, Mount, Havertz, Ziyech, Luka. I like the forward line. I just don't like what's behind it. And Tereak, that is not good. That is not good.
I didn't think you'd be feeling that way. Rudiger in about 4, Alonso in about 4.
I'm not bothered about Rudiger. I'm bothered about our right hand side because Ziyech and Saul are gonna have to do a lot of work because Aspi doesn't have. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the legs, and I don't understand why we've not gone with Hudson-Odoi just to play on that right hand side. He can do a job for us.
It's a good point, actually. And then for Spurs, I'll do the Spurs one. Lloris in goal, Tanganga, Sanchez, Davis. Then we've got Emerson Royale at right back and Doherty playing left wing back by the looks of it. Yeah, he's played there before for Wolves, if I'm correct. And then we've got Højbjerg and Skip in the middle. And we've got Lucas Moura, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. So it looks, I don't know what I mean. It looks a very strong Spurs side. With the players that they got available, that's the strongest they can go, I believe. And then for Chelsea, we might need to have a word about this because is it really going to be a back four? I think it is.
I don't know. Listen, look, I wanted to play like this for a while, but not with Rudiger and Saar, because that's the first time I've probably seen them in a two. This is probably the first. I can't remember the last time I saw them in a two. So I wouldn't be. But the thing is, this Jorginho always drops in.
Yeah.
So I like Ziyech finally getting his opportunity again, and Havertz and Lukaku will be very interesting.
Oh, for sure, definitely. Them two playing together. I don't think there's been many times I've seen them play together in the same side. Side.
I think maybe only once or twice before. Not often enough.
Exactly. Guys, I'm going to create a poll right now. So for the game, who is going to win? So whilst I do that, Hanif, what's your prediction? I've heard your prediction, but let the TTF know how you think the game's going to go.
After looking at that lineup, I'm going with 2-1 now. Chelsea.
Still going 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going. I said 3-1 on my Instagram. I changed my mind, but now I'm going 2-1.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. Felt a bit too much. It felt too much passion at the time, I think.
Yeah. I know what you mean. But now the lineups and the pre-game nerves is coming. Who do you think's going to score?
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go for like a set piece or something. I'd say Lukaku from set pieces, and I'm hoping Mount could do something. But I'm just a bit worried because we've not played with that back line as a four. It's been a long time since I've seen a four. The last time Rudiger was in a four, I think it was Europa League, and when we won it. So it's just Aspi's legs are gone. This is how desperate we are because Aspi wouldn't be playing anymore. Bless him, rate him. But for me, it also looks like a 3-4-2-1. So Sarr, Rudiger, Aspi, and then Ziyech and what's his name? Alonso and Ziyech might come in. It just depends. Like you've got 4-2-3-1 up. It might actually be a 3-4-1-2 or. It just depends. I think now we have to be we have to accept that whatever we see on the screen, regardless of the formation setup, it never bees like that because you always attack with like 7 players now or 8 players, and then defensively there's 8 or 9 players and so forth. The fluidity in formation changes is it happens a lot, and I think when you look at the defense to the offense, it's always interesting. So I think that's the modern game. You have to be able. It doesn't matter what you start with.
Yeah.
How fluid are you? Are you susceptible to change and so forth? And how can you get the best out of those players? And the best managers in the world, sometimes they'll only like Liverpool to play 2 at the back, and the rest of them just go forward, don't they? So exactly. It's always interesting.
Yeah, exactly that. And let's see what the comments are saying. We've already got 12 likes, and look at that. Let's go. Subscribe, people. Thank you for the people who have subscribed. Big appreciations for that. And Paxton's gone with Chelsea should still dominate the midfield on paper. Paxton, I totally agree with him. We've got a chance here already. Oh, Lukaku.
The thing is this. I'm going to see that Spurs midfield properly today. I've never really seen. I've seen like snippets of them. But I've never really watched Harry Winks and is it Skip in the middle? Never really seen them. So let's see what they're made of because they're both young players, and it seems as if I would have thought Tottenham needed a midfielder, someone like a Thomas Partey or someone. I think they need a midfielder because that's a very young, inexperienced squad, in my opinion.
Yeah, and
especially in the middle.
2-1 Spurs. Mad. I think that's the first Spurs prediction that we've had. Conte with the 3-4-2-1 may be the better KG and the way to win.
Hey up, go on, Lukaku. Oh my god, doesn't matter. Nobody buy a lad.
Hanif's a little bit behind again, people, but don't worry about it.
I'm watching it on the Arabic channel, mate. I'm telling you, this is what happens.
Goal.
Yeah, yalla, go! I'm telling you, you can't beat it. You can't beat
the commentary, exactly. Hakim Ziyech is exactly what Man United need. Oh, interesting. I don't know. I think you need a bit. If I was looking at a Chelsea player, I'd be looking at Conte.
I think they need a box to box, someone who can do that job. They linked with that young lad from, is it Germany, that Florian Wirtz? I can't pronounce his name. Wirtz. Yeah. I think he's gonna probably raid Leverkusen, but they're gonna be asking for big money because United are coming in. But I think with United is from what I saw the other week against Wolves is just heart and desire. Sometimes you don't play well, but you expect commitment.
Yeah.
And I think that's more important than just when you're not playing well, and that didn't show. And when you saw Luke Shaw's interview, I'm telling you, that guy needs serious media training or don't send him out. As simple as that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Whenever the likes of Harry Maguire or Shaw have come out in the interview, they haven't been that impressive. But let me just say, first 2.5 minutes, I like the way that you're moving the ball around. I like the way that Chelsea seems to be looking a lot.
I think because we're at home, aren't we? So we've got that advantage of the home fans.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to watch what their fullbacks are like. I've not seen this Emerson Royale before. I don't know if he's a new signing.
Yeah, he is. They're signing from Barcelona in the summer, and a young Emil Smith Rowe tore a new one out of him at the start of the season. But CM's gone 2-1 to Spurs. Ed said Chelsea surely to win this. Spurs are Spurs. Lukaku can help himself massively, scoring the winner against their biggest rivals. Hanif, is Tottenham Chelsea's biggest rivals? Hanif?
Yes, mate.
Is Tottenham Chelsea's biggest rivals?
No, it's Arsenal.
Oh, it's Arsenal. There you go. There's your answer. Casey knows about Florian Wirtz. McSauce is a decent box to box, but they don't let him play there. Florian Wirtz, amazing.
He's not really he's a backup box to box, isn't he? And
exactly. Steve's got a question for you here. Can you speak to Sal's loan so far? So, what's your thoughts on Sal Niguez's loan?
He's getting better, but this is the Premier League. We've seen that. I'll give you the example of Partey. He needed a season to adapt. Okay, so
1 sec. Alonso's just put it up high. Playing it to Havertz in behind, and 1-0 Chelsea. 1-0 Chelsea.
I'm about 35 seconds behind you.
I'm in 40. It's in the 4th minute and 30th second, and Hanif, you'll be happy when you see it. It's Alonso pressing up high and winning the ball, playing it to Havertz. He looks to have injured his hand in the process.
Can you believe it? Alonso can press.
Oh, tell me about it. And he's played a good ball in behind. Yeah, and Sanchez can't keep it out, and it's 1-0 Chelsea already. What did I say? 3-2. I didn't know. I said 3-2. That's what I think the scoreline's going to be. I've done a great and given my prediction after a goal's been scored. Big up yourself, G Staffy, though.
Yeah, it seemed to come from a poor pass from is it Sanchez?
Yeah,
and Alonso kind of read it that because the pass didn't have enough power behind it.
Yeah. Wasn't we talking about that guy before?
Sanchez. And this is the thing, if you can, obviously Chelsea have played 3-4-3 many times, especially with Alonso. I'm really happy that he intercepted and he basically read the pass, and that's something that Chelsea will be aware of because we played probably 3-4-3 the most in Chelsea history.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go. Emerson Royale is actually good. He started at Real Betis. He did, but he didn't actually get any game time at Barcelona. They just signed him straight away. And yeah, and they just made a profit. It's like a flip, you know, as they're saying, like if if you're in a stock market or if you're anything in property, they made a flip right there. Royale with cheese instead, Tomiyasu. Then yeah, that's what happened. Yes, we got Emerson Royale. McTeat is a jack in the box, only pops up once in a while. That's true. They're talking about McTominay. Havertz, nice turnover, Spuds. Alonso read you like a book. You had to pause.
McTominay is like, you know, for the bottom 5 or 6 teams against in the Premier League, he's that type of player. And you'd put him against the likes of Burnley because he's a physical player as well. So it didn't surprise me that he played well against Burnley.
It's true. Yeah, exactly. You are right. It's not a surprise at all. And I'm telling you, you guys have started off really well. Spurs are. I was expecting this to be a feisty game, to be a game where it's going to be like loads of challenges flying in. It looks quite physical already in the first 7 minutes, and yeah, I'm liking this. It's delicately poised now. And Conte, when everyone's been talking about Conte, am I speaking too soon, Hanif? Because I sent you a message.
Way too soon. You're speaking way too soon. It's early, isn't it? I think Tottenham would take like a 1-0 loss to Chelsea and then take it back to White Hart Lane, wouldn't they? So it's one of them.
But I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I think Conte, honestly, I think he's an amazing manager. Like he's good. He's a good man manager. That's what I think he is, and he can work with the tools he's got. I don't think he's going to ever be like, you know, I wouldn't put him up there with the likes of like Klopp and Guardiola, who are revolutionary and play such dominant, amazing football. But he's effective, Conte, and I don't think he can do much with this side because he's a very good manager, but he's not a miracle worker. So there's been plenty of managers like Mauricio Pochettino who was unable to win with this side. And yes, we throw a lot of stick at Poch for that. But let's be honest, he's the one that...
Poch played well with a very good Spurs team, right? And that was... And I've always said this, you know what? When you've got when your history is about... when you have no history and you've not won a cup competition in such a long time, surely the emphasis should be one season, right? Let's win a trophy. But I think in today's modern game, it's about top 4, bring the money in. And as fans, we think, we'll see investment into players, but sometimes it doesn't work like that. And with Spurs, it's always been weird because I don't know if they were saving up to put the money towards their stadium. Now, it's okay doing that if you're consistently going to finish in the top 4, but if you don't, then it hinders you. And I think Spurs moved too early to that big ground. Plus, it cost them an arm and a leg. You've got a big manager who, let's be honest, he's probably going to want like 70, 80 million to spend each season because that Spurs team, on paper, it's not a top... You could argue it's a top 16. You could not top 4, top 6 at best.
Yeah, top 6 at best. Yeah.
So at best, and they finished. Was it 7th last season?
Yeah, 7th.
So
wow,
that kind of tells me that, you know what, this team needs a bit of surgery. And you know what, I gotta give Conte a lot of credit that the system that he usually plays it suits a lot of those players. It really does, because if he was playing 4-2-3-1 or if he was playing a bit of a different system, then it would... I don't think he'd get the best out of him.
Exactly. We've got a CDM. Yeah, that's what United need. Realistically, Neves, unrealistically. They
need 2, mate. They need to move Fred further up. I think Fred is underrated, and that's... You've got a player who was one of the best central attacking midfielders when he played for Shakhtar, and you're playing him CDM. That's just ridiculous.
I don't really rate Fred too much, to be honest. I think he's a decent player. He's definitely like he could be a squad player at a Man United like title winning side with Fergie, but I don't think he's...
But imagine playing Martinelli like left back. You're not going to get the best out of him because he's better further afield, and that's what they're doing with Fred, in my opinion. Fred, you know, Man United fans, like, they're always harsh on Fred, and I think Fred gets most of the grief, but he's the one that actually, he never shies away from tackling, getting in people's faces, and then when he does play well, I don't think he gets the praise at all.
No, I hear that. Samson, just big up yourself, man. Go subscribe to his channel whilst you're out here as well, because big up yourself, Samson, man. Appreciate you for showing love as always. I know it is bad. I will be talking about that at halftime in particular. We'll be talking about that situation. We are a different type of team. I'd say Frankie Dion. Oh, is there a chance for 2-0 from Havertz? Oh, save though. Oh, wow. Big up yourself, Matt G. He says, I really want Chelsea to win, so you don't want to see Tottenham in the final. I mean, if they're going to carry on playing like this, I'd want to play this Tottenham for sure. Yeah, Havertz should do better, but it's on his weaker foot in the end. Here we go. Here's another question for you, Hanif. Hanif, thoughts on Mason Mount? Bearing in mind, before you give your thoughts, Ed, he's not. I wouldn't say he's not. Jury's out on Mason Mount from Edmin. What's your thoughts? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. Oh, are you back? No, I can't hear you. Is it me? You can hear me. Can't mute. Oh, you're still on mute? Yeah. It still says mute. I don't think your mic's working or something. One sec. Yeah, it still says you're on mute. Whilst Hanif's sorting that out, I'll keep that question starred. But let me go through the others. Yes, Matt, my guy. I take then Donker. Anyone who actually plays CDM is decent. I know Paxton. Tell me about it. Then Donker, he's not bad. Hey, let me know your thoughts. If Balogun shows up at Borough, does really well, I will laugh my head off because it will show Arteta to play him more. Do you know what? I think it's more to do with his development, Grace, because he's still a young striker. Flo Balogun is. And from what I've seen of him, you can see there's potential there, but you can quite tell he's not quite ready for the game. Let me bring Hanif back in. Are you back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Paul. Can you hear me?
Perfect. I can hear you. Yeah, it's all back. And let's get back to this question here. Thoughts on Mason Mount?
Top class. For me, he's the future of Chelsea. For me, it's very important to where Chelsea are going to end up. If you look at our goal scoring record since he's been brought back into the team, I think he's our top goal scorer, and he's got the most assists as well. So for me, it's very important that we make sure that Mason Mount is in the team as much as possible. He's still a young lad, but he's very important to what Chelsea can do further up the field. You know, he's one of those players that's adapted to a new manager. We were always wondering that, you know, with Tuchel coming in, what would be Mason Mount's role? And you know, he played a pivotal role under Frank Lampard, and now he's playing an important role for Thomas Tuchel. So that tells me he's adaptable, and he's well aware that Tuchel might not be here for a long time, and it might be somebody else soon. So for me, I'm really happy with his progress, and he just needs to keep going. I'm really happy with Mason Mount. He's one of those youngsters that's really flourished in our first team since he's been in it, and he was one of them that went to Derby and he had a loan spell. So you know, when the system of loaning players out to championship clubs is questioned, then I would say, look, he's another example of that. So is Lukaku. So I think players like Balogun, I think players like Greenwood should have been loaned out, and so on. It's very important that you stick with a system which develops young talent. You're seeing it now.
Exactly. Mason Mount, speaking of the boys, having a couple of pop shots that have been blocked. So it's a Chelsea corner in the 15th minute here. Spurs tried to do what Arsenal did with the move to the Emirates, but they weren't financially viable enough or getting Champions League year on year. Yeah, I think it's a different time period as well, Ed. For me, when Arsenal moved to the Emirates, we were top two with Man United, and Spurs, when they moved, they were in the Champions League, but top four is harder to get into now than it was last season. Well, not last season, than it was back when Arsenal moved to the Emirates. Would you agree on that there, Hanif?
100%. I think that's what cost Pochettino his job, because he needed money to strengthen that Tottenham team, and as a result of the commitment to the stadium, it's kind of cost Tottenham, because we don't. Tottenham are probably the outside bet of finishing in the top four, and the only reason they're an outside bet is because they've got a world-class manager on their hands. If they didn't have Conte, I don't think many people would even think about Tottenham Hotspur. And I'll be honest with you,
sure. I think this is why
I'd
Casey is
yeah,
thinking because of Conte. But carry on, sorry, bro.
yeah, and I'd be really surprised if if a big bid came in for Kane, if he stays there, because even he knows that Conte's only there for a season and a half anyway. So
Well, Conte did come out and he said that Kane is fully on board with the project. He said it yesterday in the press conference, doing some math revision. So listening. So you've gone quiet. That's okay. Enjoy doing your maths. You got any tips? Any revision tips for Grace in terms of maths revision, Hanif?
It's all online. Just figure out how you learn, and just do the best you can, and just revise 1 hour a day, and every day, and you've got like 123 days until your exams. So good luck.
There you go. Good advice from Hanif there. And big up yourself, Sato. He says Conte's first loss will come up against his former club, Chelsea. Hanif will be happy to see that. You honestly, this first 17 minutes, Ziyech just having a shot wide, you've dominated them. But we know in football, if you don't take your chances...
it's people say, oh, you should always play with a high line, but a high line can cost you as well, especially when you don't take your chances.
Concentration, isn't it, Hanif? That's the thing.
Oh, massive.
Tomorrow, she's got an exam tomorrow. Fair enough. If you've done your revision, that's fine. But yeah, good luck for your exam. All the best, Grace.
Good luck.
We all love Fred because he fumbles and lets all us rivals thrash them. I think, the combination of Fred doesn't help, but they don't suit. Like, as I said, I don't actually think they're bad individually. Like, do you know, like how you think about like Fred, all the slander that they get? They're not bad individually when we look at them, but together they're just a calamity.
For me, this phase of Manchester United reminds me of when Van Gaal came in. They went through a very bad patch where I think they lost to like a League One side or a Championship team in the cup, in one of the cup competitions, and he had a clipboard and everything, and I'm just like, I think there's so many problems at Manchester United that when you look individually, they're good players, but collectively, how many managers are you going to go through until you realize that some of these players just don't have the mentality of playing for Manchester United? And if you're going to reward mediocrity, then so be it. But Manchester United, in my opinion, do have a very good team, but it's not a dog working team. They're not dogs. They're saying, oh, Bruno presses, this guy presses, that guy presses. Okay, then why aren't we seeing it? It doesn't make any sense. Half an hour against Palace. Since that game, what's happened?
I don't think they have a very good team. I think they have they have good individuals, but not a team. Like, because how I look at, like, for you, for example, like in this game, you're the better team than Tottenham, but Tottenham have the individuals to scare you. Like, if we're going to talk about like as teams working together in a cohesive unit, definitely, I'd rather have your attack than Tottenham's as a cohesive unit, because yes, they got Son and Kane who are wonderful, but then you've got who else you got around them? Do you know what I mean? Like, you look more threatening going forward, I believe, because you also got the midfield to help as well.
I like Fred. Do you like?
Hey, and then you got Paxton saying Fred is a decent player, but even at CM, he didn't do anything special. Always passing sideways, and being good at Shakhtar doesn't make him a good player overall. I'm inclined to agree.
In the Champions League, he was doing bits, and Shakhtar were always a dark horse in the Champions League because they'd always upset teams, and he was scoring for Shakhtar in the Champions League. And this is the thing. He was one of the most sought after players. Even I think even Pep wanted him. So at that time, look, I just think what's his name? Ragnick needs a preseason with those guys, but it's gonna take time. As I said, you need to give the guy maybe until February.
Look at this. He's not wearing the hat. Well, I'm not wearing the hat.
Today.
Well. Hey, I'll try and fix that up. But Charles, you're winning. Let me know your thoughts. Big up yourself, Mama G, as well. Mama G talks.
Charles, what do you reckon? Havertz behind Lukaku? looking all right, you know.
He's looking all right. You got your more attackers on now. You look more fluid going forward, I believe. But that's not the question, though. His question is, how can you hold out defensively? You're doing a good job so far. Where have I got to? We've got more comments to get to. We talk about Phil Jones. We've spoken a lot about Man United now. We've spoken a lot already. Too much. Big up, but speaking of United, we've got Maisie in the chat. Big up yourself, Maisie. Go and subscribe to her. For, you know what? It's not just United chat. She does football, females, for the women. So go check out the football over there. Go subscribe to Macy's channel, Devils United.
Big up, Devils United. Big up.
And Chelsea are passing it all around Spurs right now. You know it, Steve. For real. Definitely. Guys, keep your comments coming in and smash that like button if you haven't done so already as well. It'd be very much appreciated. Love to everyone who's here watching and showing support and getting in the comments.
Tariq, I'm really worried about my son. I don't know which team he's going to end up supporting because obviously my missus is a United fan.
How old is he?
He's one.
Oh, okay. So you got a little bit of time.
And you know my daughter, she's a Gooner. I can't believe it.
Yeah, big up your daughter. I love to hear that. Yes.
Honestly, she, her first game was the FA Cup final a few years back, and I was just like, "What's going on here?"
She's got a good potential.
She's Arsenal's a team. Yeah, that's what she said. Just let me know when Arsenal are playing, and I was like,
"Look, he's here."
Nothing to say.
Look, he's in the chat.
Yeah, there he is, the big man.
Big up yourself, really. And shall we talk about how Wolves bossed United on Monday? I'm here for that. Hey, Hanif, before you take us away, let me big up B&B. Spurs versus Chelsea. It's like choosing between a two-day or a boil on the ball. I know what you mean. And look at my bald head, you fan. I'd tell me about it, B&B. But you know what? And if I'll let you go away and talk about Wolves to begin with, give them their flowers.
You know, listen, Wolves played well, but that's because their managers had time with them. They're a well-structured unit. Their midfield is better than United anyway. You can't compare, you can't compare Moutinho and Neves to McFred. There is a difference between those players, and unfortunately for Manchester United, I don't understand why they didn't see that. The one thing that I will say is this: they're lucky that Wolves didn't press them. If Wolves pressed them, it could have been far worse. And when De Gea and Phil Jones are your best players, that kind of tells you everything you need to know. A lot of those Man United attacks were being neutralized, and Tereak, you saw it as well when United played Burnley, and you said these guys are getting in their box. Bro, now, if you can't exactly, and if you can't neutralize teams like Burnley, who played well in my opinion, I thought they played really well. And if you can't neutralize those types of threats, what are you going to do when you come up against the teams in the top half of the Premier League? You will struggle. And I think Manchester United have got serious problems because the players that they've got on these long-term contracts, they can't play to this new system yet. So
come back to United again, isn't he?
Yeah, it's gonna they're gonna struggle. But you know what? Podence looked fantastic. I thought Wolves are well organized, and they play. I think they just knew that United will come onto them, and then we'll just counter. And they let Podence absolutely run wild. And for me, he looks like a fantastic talent. He looks really, really good. They made him look like Hazard, to be fair. And when your best player is Phil Jones, that kind of says everything. I just don't understand how United allowed them to be so so good on the ball. And as I said, there was a lack of desire, a lack of fight, but Wolves were there. And when you look at the statistics, when you look at the shots taken, it was men against boys, Tereak. It was year 7s versus year 11s. And I'm sorry, but when you set yourself up like that and your team is not willing to play and you're not willing to roll up your sleeves, that's what'll happen. Tereak, now is the best time to play Manchester United.
Yeah. Why Chelsea fans all standing up and clapping in the 25th minute? What's happened?
I don't know myself.
They're all just stood up. I have no idea. Are they going to talk about it? I don't know why. But anyways, I think. But sorry, I just got distracted by it. I just saw the Chelsea players. Like, I don't know if they're even clapping, but all the fans just stood up and stuff. But anyways, we got Botox and Escobar was not on it. I don't understand the Chelsea slander. Like, champions of Europe, we know what we are. What would you say about that? What would you agree with Grace?
I don't understand. Like, what does she mean by that?
Well, I don't know. Chelsea being facing some slander. Is it in the comments? You got a lot of Arsenal fans and non-Chelsea fans here, Grace. So it's probably more tongue in cheek than anything else. Sounds like Mark.
I don't know what
I don't know what they're talking
to,
about. That neither. Let me have a look. Actually, oh, here we go. There we go. Great Mexican food and bevies at the beach. Oh yeah, talking about food. I'm all involved in that. We got AJ up in the place. AJ RTM. He's also a Chelsea fan. He's featured on the channel.
Spurs. Right, AJ, big up.
Exactly, big up AJ. We got Spurs play like they never want to win a trophy. Ain't that the truth? And did you watch?
They look nervous. They really.
Did you see Lukaku on that run? By the way,
I'm catching up to you now.
Did you see? I think you probably see like on the counter attack. What minute are you on actually?
I am on minute 3 at the moment, and I don't understand what's going on.
Oh no, we're having some technical issues over on Hanif's end.
I'm having some major technical issues. It's like McFred have taken over.
Says that he's just been there saying they get a lot of criticism, and then he's throwing shade. Love it from Hanif. Oh man, Tanganga after Roma. Is he another one? Jose Mourinho trying to sweep up all these English young stars. Well,
he wants your lad, doesn't he?
Yeah, it looks like he's going.
Talk about that. Are you happy about that?
I mean, it's a good question actually, because there's a lot of Arsenal fans have spoken and said it's not the right time to let Ainsley Maitland-Niles go with Thomas Partey being out of the African Cup of Nations. But for me, what's the point in keeping a player if you're barely going to play him anyway? So I think it's the right decision. Get him out on loan. Try and get a sale out of him. I think he'll perform well in Italy because it's a much slower pace league. He's got the technical ability to play in midfield, but I just don't think he has the intensity to do it in the Premier League or in England, to be honest. Even if it was in like the Championship, I think he'd struggle a bit. So, I think that's the perfect move for him, in all honesty. And he'll probably get about 15 million, I reckon.
It's a bit of an odd one because you kind of, I think you need to keep him because what if he suffered any injuries? Whilst Party's off, and then obviously it depends who else you've got, because is there anybody else who can play in the middle apart from El Neni?
El Neni's not even there. He's at Egypt. We've got Sambi Lokonga.
Oh, right, okay.
We've got Sambi Lokonga and Xhaka. They're the only two that we have available. Well, we've got Charlie Patino as well, but obviously he's not played any minutes in the Premier League as of yet. But the ones who are registered in the squad, only Sambi Lokonga and Granit Xhaka. So we are quite light in that area. So maybe in the January transfer window, I might get somewhere. For now,
yeah, you can't sell and not replace, because it's a pivotal point in the season as well, isn't it?
It's very true, and we've suffered before. Last season, I can remember when we was like trying to go in the Europa League, we gave Kolasinac, we gave Schalke Kolasinac on loan. He's still here, by the way, Kolasinac. But we only had, and that left us with Kieran Tierney at left back, and our only recognised left back. And then in the end, Kieran Tierney got injured, and who had to play left back? It was Granit Xhaka. And then guess what? In the semi-final against Villarreal, even Granit Xhaka got injured. So we played like a weird formation with like Saka at like left back, but he was more like a left winger. Partey just running the whole midfield by himself, and we struggled. In all honesty, we didn't look convincing at all. And hey, what happened? Unai Emery ended up winning the whole thing and meeting you guys in the Super Cup, and you beat him. And look at that, Steve saying Paul McFred getting blamed for your technical issues. Well, I think a lot of Man United fans would say they have technical difficulties as well. Technical difficulties on the ball. Jose turning Serie A into Premier League 2.0. Can Wolves hold on to Neves?
He's always been a quality player. I'm surprised that no one's gone in for him previously, but I think it depends what Neves is worth, really. He would improve United's midfield. And I think he'd probably, you know what, Tereak, I think he'd improve your team as well.
I think you're 100% correct. He would. I would love Neves. Neves would be, bearing in mind, I'm not Xhaka's biggest hater. Probably people would say I'm his biggest fan. But, Rudiger. Oh, sorry, name. But for me, Neves is a level above Xhaka. Most definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That would work. It would be class if we could get Neves. I think Neves would improve any midfield. He'd definitely improve Liverpool for me. He would. Would he improve Man City? Probably not, because of the plethora of players that they have. But Liverpool, I think he'd walk into there as well. And, especially when you got the likes of Milner now, and Keita's always picking up injuries, like say Chamberlain. He's better than all of those, I believe, to this day. Are there any strong links to players coming in to Chelsea, Hanif? If you can answer that now, or I'll hold on for a little bit if that's all right. I don't mind.
Only the ones that I want, but at this moment in time, it seems as if it's a bit quiet on the transfer front. But we need it. But we do really need a striker, really. Just in case Lukaku gets injured or he starts saying silly things again. So we could do with a striker and possibly and two fullbacks as well. Luka Dean looks set more or less, and we need a right wing back as well. So it's one of them. We need to buy, or we're gonna struggle to finish top four.
There you go, Steve.
We need to make sure we get some players in.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, look at Sanchez there. Makes a good tackle and then does something stupid straight after. But Steve, 100% agree with you. I'd have Neves at Arsenal for sure. Yeah, I'd snap your hand off. If we could...
Sanchez play for Ivory Coast, or am I mistaken?
Nah, he plays for Colombia.
Does he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's playing like the Ivory Coast centre back, who's also Man United, Eric Bailly. Yeah, they are similar in their style. Can we stop talking about Neves? He ain't going anywhere. Yes, he is. Look at that, Paxton. I think you should be the broker for that deal, please. Neves swap deal without Nene, 30 million. I think we'd be getting away. That would be good. We'd be walking away.
But Tereak, I think at the end of the season,
word, it's 2-0. It's 2-0 on goal. Oh, 2-0 Chelsea. A calamity at the back between Tanganga and Ben Davies. Tottenham. Hanif, what was I telling you, brother? What was I telling you?
What minute are you on? Because I'm behind you.
34, 15 seconds.
Right, I'm on 33:45.
Bro, when you see this, chat, when you see this, everybody in the chat, what am I watching? This is Spurs.
It came off two of them. Yeah. It seemed it came off two Tottenham players. That was just lucky. But we'll take it, if you want to score for us, well done, Ben Davies. I think Ben Davies got the first header, and then as a result of the movement of Sanchez or Tantanga, he seemed to put it goalwards.
Listen to Steve. So Spursy. As I said, man, Hanif. As I said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it came off. Tantanga tried to clear it, and because of Davis's movement, his head was facing towards the goal. Oh, no, his shoulder. It went in. That's just unlucky. But we'll take it. Cheers, Spurs.
I don't think
if you look at the body position, it is, because you kind of don't expect that, really. If it came off his face and it went in, or his head.
But why? Literally, there's no pressure on it, though. There's no pressure at all. So they've made that situation out of themselves by all of them dropping in deep without anyone. Do you know what I mean? Not one Chelsea player was in there. That's all of them dropping in deep. That's a lack of communication.
Do you think when Conte said we need better players, do you think he knows that most of his team is, well, especially
They're
defensively,
trash.
it's
They're awful.
absolutely awful.
Exactly. So Spursy. What a game. Took a ricochet. Unlucky. Lol. Spurs. Ed, you said it. Spurs are going to be Spurs. Ben Davis is middle of the championship quality at best. A joke how much he's earning. It is a
How
bit
much
mad.
is he? Because someone tell me, do you think he's more? Do you think he's on more than 30 grand a week?
Yeah, definitely. I reckon he's probably double that. I'm guessing. I don't.
30.
Where would I? Yeah, he's probably in the 60s. I wouldn't if he's in the hundreds. Hey, Paxton, if you know a roundabout, let us know in the chat.
He's on more than Martin. He's on more than Martinelli then.
Oh, yeah, we're trying to sort out our wage structure a little bit now. We had them mad wage structures as well. To be fair, not
No, but you've
probably.
got to give a lot of respect to Edu and Arteta, especially Edu. He's doing it the right way. He's clearing all that, all those financial issues, those players that the club doesn't want, and I don't think he gets enough credit. A lot of people give him a lot of stick, when Arsenal lose, but
Yeah,
when he's, these things they take time, don't they?
yeah, it's true. And what's your thoughts on this? I know what AJ's on about. He's on about Theo Hernandez, the left back who plays for AC Milan, and Jose
Yes,
Gaya. He's been talking about him, the Valencia left back. Do you have any knowledge on
I
any of
don't,
these two?
I don't. I've seen Hernandez a little bit. He looks all right, to be fair. I
Yeah,
just the step up to the Premier League is a different level.
yeah, it's a different
I
kettle.
think the one that impressed me is Kessie. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Arsenal should do whatever they can, and I know Spurs are interested as well.
Yeah,
Um,
Spurs. It looks like he could be moving to Spurs because he's going to be moving on a free, and he'll have plenty of clubs. You'll keep him
so
at 80 million. Nobody's paying that. 80 million for Ruben Neves. That's what Ed's on about. No, you can keep him. Ed, keep him.
the thing is this: like, how long is his contract? Because it'd be interesting to know how many years he's got left. Because if a decent offer like 40 million comes in, surely
Hey, I
they have to
was
sell.
right. I was right. He's on 60K a week. I was like, yeah,
That's
I'm sure it's like double. That's wow. Look at that
that's
classic Spurs.
ridiculous.
The Spurs slander's right in here. And annually, so that is probably about 60K a week, isn't it?
It worries me when footballers are, like young footballers are earning millions. I think that's such a big problem in the game where you've
Ben
not
Davies
proven
is
yourself.
Ben,
Or yes, no, I mean,
in general, yeah.
so in general, but yeah, someone like Ben Davis and Spurs wage structure. I think when you're providing a lot of assists and you offer a lot to your club, then I can understand. But when you got the likes of Ben Davis, and he's not exactly been Spurs' best player, but over the years, I think he's someone that Expressions always has a go at, and that tells me that he's not a good player. But
Yeah.
it's just madness when you're paying these players these types of salaries, and then then your other average players are going to be demanding a lot more. Because I think their big money signing was at Ndombele a couple of seasons ago, where they paid a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
And it's not really worked out for him. And
The recruitment's been the issue for Spurs, though, hasn't it? It has. I don't think any of the. Let's be honest. Who Spurs signed? They signed Christian Romero, who's been injured a lot of the time. Emerson Royale, who hasn't impressed for me. I don't think he's been good at all.
oh, Kepa, what are you doing?
It's all right. Yeah, I saw that afterwards. Yeah, he's all right. He got away with it. This is the Spurs I remember. Luke, I'm sorry, man. This is like this is why I've sort of said in a way I think we're expecting too much from Conte. I think a lot of teams do get that new manager bounce, and Conte definitely can do that, but there's always times where it runs out and then you expect a little bit more. And like look at Emerson there, just poor. Luke, you just don't have the quality at all. You
That
need
competition that they got disqualified from. That was the competition they needed to take
Lukaku's just
serious.
yeah.
And,
Lukaku's just missed a big opportunity to make it 3. Bro, Hanif, if this isn't 3-0 at half time, I don't I don't know what's going to happen. Ziyech, beautiful clip ball into the box. What is Davinson Sanchez doing? So you see what I'm saying, Luke? What is this? Absolutely no pressure on the header at all. No pressure. Lukaku should actually score. No complaints there. You can't complain there, Lukaku. He should score. Hanif.
This is why I've always said, like, if you know when you're spending big money, yeah, he should score, but it is what it is, and he couldn't hit the target.
Timo's coming on.
This is why I've always said that you should, if you're going to spend 100 million, and I said this in the summer, go and get Lewandowski. You're telling me they wouldn't have sold us Lewandowski for 100 million? Of course they would. We'd have got 2 wicked seasons out of him. Now, I'm not saying Lukaku's a bad player, but you have to finish your dinner, and the game's over if he scores that. The game's over. What
people have to remember is it's not just the fact that you guys wanted Lukaku; it's the situation that was at hand. Like, I feel like there's been probably a bit too much criticism on Chelsea for signing Lukaku, because you were looking for a striker. You tried to get Haaland, but then they were just asking for a ridiculous transfer fee. We know how much he wants in wages anyway. So there's no, literally, it's not financially viable to pay both.
I told you where he's going. Arsenal. I want him to go to. I just want to see my Arsenal. You imagine you guys get hot. You know that NFL and NBA draft silly thing. I don't really like it. But like if Arsenal could get like Haaland, it would be so interesting. Yeah. Imagine Haaland up top with Martinelli and Saka on, beside him. Just like, what is going on here? It would be interesting.
I'll tell you someone is going to, in the chat, I'll know who it is, and he'll be totally agreeing with you there. But obviously that wasn't financially viable. But what happened in the end is you went for Lukaku because of this financial situation at Inter Milan. Let's not forget, you took advantage of a situation.
We wanted 2 of their players, but the other one, PSG offered him more salary, and he's the best right back. He's the one that I didn't want, because I wanted Reece James to be given the opportunity.
I didn't understand why you would want Hakimi. Do you know what I mean?
Because he's he's the best right back or right full back in Europe.
Right wing back. He's a good right wing back. I'm not sure if he's a good right back.
It's one of them. So. And
I think Saul's been excellent in this game,
Yeah, he's been really good in this game.
This has been his. There was a chance there. Sorry,
Saul and Jorginho in the middle, but Saul's coming along nicely. It's taken a few months, I think, and that's just the way it is.
Ed's agreeing with you. He says the Conference League should have been taken more
seriously. When I was a Chelsea fan, and I've always said this, when we won the Cup Winners' Cup, which is like the Europa Conference League, you've got to take these competitions seriously. It's a trophy at the end of the day. You've not won anything. And if you're not going to take, it's like this competition, no one respects the League Cup enough, but it's a trophy and it adds to your history. What's top 4? It's only money. It doesn't add any value to your history, and you're just going to be like, yeah, you lost out again. That's why everyone has a go at Spurs. That's why we all say they're so Spursy.
Yeah.
And I feel for them, but unfortunately, if you look at what's going on at Spurs and the amount of money that they've spent, I don't think they should have bought a stadium. I think they should have won a trophy and then got a new stadium. But it is what it is, and it's if they're filling it and they're making money out of it, fair enough.
It's true. Lukaku's done out here twerking for your former club and then apologising they don't want him anymore. Yeah, Lukaku at West Brom was the best version we saw in the Prem.
Lukaku was a bit like, I don't know. Lukaku was one of those players that, when he was a young lad, he was like Mike Tyson. He was so big, and he was just a genetic freak. And he just like, this guy's gonna get past everyone anyway, because everyone's half his size.
Yeah. Spot on.
So it's one of them, and I think Marcus Rashford might have been a similar one, to be fair. It's mad, but fair play to him. If you play to your strengths, and one player that I'd like, if we can get him end of season, is Callum Wilson. I think he's so underrated. I'd take him because he feeds on scraps. AJ's been
talking about this before. He was saying this. I was talking to him, and he was saying he would have been happy with a player like Ings, Wilson. I think there was a point Ashley Barnes he said he'd have taken, but I don't think you take him now. But Doherty rumours coming back to Wolves, he can stay here now. For real. I agree with you, Steve, massively.
Doherty, right? In that system, he should be good because in Wolves they always used to play 3-4-3.
And it is half time, people. It is half time. Yeah. It is 2-0 to Chelsea. And there's
it's been all Chelsea. It's all Chelsea. Yeah. I've not seen much from Spurs at all. It's and this is the thing that Conte can't do for Spurs. They don't have the mentality. You need mentality at least, and I don't think they've worked hard enough. They've come up against a better team, and I was kind of looking forward to some of the duels, but it's men versus boys out there.
Exactly. Steve knew what he was on about when he was talking about Haaland. Lol, was that comment for me, Hanif, and T Talks? Yes, it was. Yeah, you tickled his fancy there when you brought Haaland in because he's been loving Haaland and he's been trying to say, is there a chance? And I'm like, no. And listen, BMB, I think you said it right there. When it comes to Tottenham, big up yourself, Ryan, as well.
When Tottenham got those like really good players, like those two defenders from Belgium, what were they called?
Jan Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld.
I think they were just like lucky on them. It's like, oh yeah, let's have a go at these guys. Nobody else wants to will take them. They look all right, and they turned out to be like the best Premier League centre backs for like a season or two.
Yeah, so for real. They were the best partnership.
It was definitely interesting. So I just think they've had their time now because they had such a good team, and unfortunately Poch wasn't backed, and then they sacked him for everything he did, and I just think that's so harsh. But unfortunately, that's the nature of the game.
It's what they deserve. And, they've got what they deserve, though. To struggle after that, because hey, look at if they would have done what Arsenal did, you go through the pain. But they had, I mean, I think the Spurs fans would have done even better than the majority of the Arsenal fan base to suffer because Poch was the one who took them through their best period. So he would have been, they would have suffered for him. I think a lot of them understood that the players weren't good enough and the manager needed backing. So they would have ridden that horrible storm. A lot of them. Of course, there'd still been people who saying, nah, get him gone. His time's up. You get that in all fan bases. But yeah, it was appalling. Get CB and Moss. Yes, definitely. Have a good one though. Catch you in a bit, Steve. Cheers, have Steve. A good one. All the best for that meeting as well. Spurs got knocked out of the Conference League group stages. Yeah, they got eliminated they were going to be out anyway.
UEFA are a bit ruthless when it comes to these games. Like I'm sure didn't they talk to UEFA about postponing that game? It seems as if they just postponed it themselves. Like I don't understand what happened there. It doesn't make any sense. Like how can you not play a game and you don't have the confirmation from UEFA? Who do Spurs think they are? I'd like some clarity on that. What exactly happened? Did they follow the process? And if they didn't, why didn't they? It's mad. And I think I think Conte wanted an appeal. He said we should enter that competition, and I think he realized that is probably the only competition that they could possibly win.
Yeah, I hear that. And then in terms of who's the best right back right now? Did you say James?
So I would say, if you look at the way the game's going at the moment, I would say going forward it's Trent because of what he offers.
Agree.
Overall, if you want the balance, Tereak, I think it's Kyle Walker, in my opinion, at the moment.
Whoa!
The balance.
I thought he was going to say Reece James. That one caught me right off guard. Why Kyle Walker? Because I don't really think he's particularly great going forward. I think he offers a good balance. That's all. I think Reece James is the next one in line. Reece James just needs more. I think another year or so. I think he's up there. I get you. I hear that. What about João Cancelo though? For balance?
Yeah, I'd put him up there. But the thing is, City don't exactly play positions, do they? They just play through it. They can play anywhere. Look at Bernardo Silva. That guy is on another level at the moment. And I think
I think we need to put a bit more respect on Trent's name as well. Well, I know you have.
Oh,
I'm not saying that you
100%, 100%. I rate him, but
still
I don't
young.
think he should be playing there. I think he should be in midfield. I really do. He's too good, man. He's too, and this is the thing. His passing ability is not talked about enough. The guy's got, in my opinion, he's got the same passing ability as Pirlo. That guy is a magician.
Yeah.
If you look,
you brought up Pirlo. We got Ed. Edwin in the chat is not a big fan of Pirlo. Oh, but sorry. When you just bringing up these names, it's just making me think. I've had certain conversations today with Ed. I'm not going to expose him on too much. I'll let him be here to defend himself for the preview. But nice seeing you, Super Nick. Big up yourself, Nick. Bless up to yourself. Yeah, in fairness, they probably should have rearranged the Stade Rennais game when I heard they gave a 3-0 win as default. As default, I did laugh. You have to listen to that. Read that out there.
That's silly. That's Ed. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that he said you don't know what you're talking about. We're gonna have. We're gonna have to. You see, Ed, we're gonna have to have you come on, man. Barring his hair and good looks, he was just good. Nothing special at all. Hanif,
he's a baller, man. He's a baller. Regardless of what people Ed's entitled to his opinion, but you need to understand, the passing ability, how he would find space. The guy had like 10 pace, and he would still find pace. I remember when he bossed England. He bossed England.
Does the little one have you over earphone? Because I can hear it.
Yeah, he's right next to me, and he's misbehaving, and he's watching the Blues, but I don't trust him. He might become a Spurs fan.
Apologies if it's affected anyone else's audio as well. He's been overblown with revisionist history. Alonso over Pirlo for me. I think I agree with that. I'd agree with that. Xavi Alonso over Pirlo. Guys, let me know yours. No Tereak, no party. It is still 2-0. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Who's the criminal? Oh, Blanco. No, not that Alonso. Wrong, Paxton. He's on about Xavi Alonso. Sorry, not Marcus. Oh, man. Wrong Alonso, Paxton. Oh, man. But yes. Guys, let me know your questions in the chat. If you've got any questions for me and Hanif, let me know your hot takes as well. Ed's brought his hot take up. What would you say your biggest hot take is, Hanif?
I don't think Busquets gets the respect he deserves.
Oh, your audio's just gone a bit quiet for a second. Have you got? Is it just you one earphone that you have? Is it?
Yeah, I've got it. Hold on. I don't wear two at all.
Don't you?
No, like mine are wireless, so.
Oh, that's better.
That's much better. Right, it's a bit weird this, but yeah, I don't think Busquets gets the respect he deserves. He's such a fantastic player.
I agree with you. That's another one that I was having a debate with Ed today. He's not a big Busquets fan either.
How could he not be? Look at the way he plays the game, and look at his physical attributes, right? And then you look at the way he plays the game, and you're just like, this guy's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think he's still playing for Spain as well. I don't know how old he is, but
even if you look at the semi-final against Italy, where they were unlucky and they lost on penalties, Busquets was amazing. Bearing in mind, we saw what Italy did to England. Hanif. Like, let's be honest, they bossed the game, didn't they, against England?
Oh yeah.
And then we're seeing a 33-year-old Busquets with that Spain squad. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Spain's were that good. And they definitely didn't have anyone going forward, but he was dictating that play, and Italy couldn't get anywhere near him, and we couldn't get anywhere near Italy. So that says it all for me, definitely. And then if you look, he still won a World Cup and Euros for Spain. He was the one in that CDM position. He enabled the likes of Iniesta and Xavi to go and do what they wanted to do. The amount of times that guy won the ball back pressing high. Do you know what we see from Rodri now? Rodri under Man City.
Oh yeah.
Whenever City leaves the ball high, he recycles possession, picks it up, and then just sprays it off. Who's the one who started that? It was Sergio Busquets. Definitely, people get him in.
I'd love to like listen to the way he's who's coached him at a young age, who's like instilled that into him, and just to like listen to like a documentary of his, like certain players that are not given that hiatus, like the greats, just to like listen to like how did this guy become so special and so forth. Because for me, he's one of the best. He's up there in my opinion.
There you go. And question, if City come back into the market with a £100 million bid or for Kane, do they take it now given his dip in form?
No, not at all. Because there are there are 2 or 3 strikers now that will be available in the summertime. And I think City are favourites to land one of them. Mbappe is one.
I think he's gone to Real Madrid. I think he's,
Haaland is another one. So I think Martinez is a fantastic talent. I think he could do a job for Man City. And then you also need to look at, these top quality midfielders, because you could argue that Man City, Pep is changing the game again. You technically don't need a striker if you've got a top team and the players know how to function in that team. He's changing it again. He's changing football. This is kind of a revolution in itself, because you're kind of seeing, like, we used to have utility players and they just step in and do a job. These guys are stepping in and they're playing with quality. They're making the difference. And for me, yeah, and I'm telling you now, these guys are doing, United's John O'Shea. These guys are John O'Shea plus quality. These guys are like levels. It's like double the player, and they can pass the ball. The pass and move and press is phenomenal, and you have to credit that to Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with Hanif there. I don't think that they would. If they did, I think Tottenham would take it for sure, because to keep his value around about that same level. But I don't think City would do it. If they really wanted a striker, as Hanif said, Haaland, Lautaro Martinez, they would be able to chuck that type of money and it'd happen. You still got to do some Vlahovic as well. I'm sure he'd be open to a move to City. He doesn't seem to be open to a move to Arsenal though, but definitely City, because they'd be offering a different
what worries me? What worries me is, what's Arteta ball gonna look like when he gets a solid team? That's what worries me, because I think the ceiling is very high, and I think when you're looking at
your worries is my excitement. That's what it is.
So exactly, and I think that's why Arsenal fans should be excited for the future and give him time, because your club's taken a gamble on an unknown guy who's worked with one of the best managers of all time. So now you're looking at it, and some of the football you guys are playing is probably the best since Arsene Wenger. So for me, I'll be honest with you, I've always said give him time, and I don't know when his contract ends, but I think most Arsenal fans will say that, you're in a better position with it when you were your club's in a better position now than what it was when Emery left. And could Arteta have done a better job? And I think most of you say no, he did a really good job in my opinion. And let's be honest, most of your transfers, if not all of them, have been a success. How often can you say that? How often can a club say that? Compare your transfers to Grealish. I would say your transfers have done far better than Grealish has, and that's just my opinion. So for me, I think Arsenal have got a very bright future. It's one of those things that if you can keep those players happy and keep them, informed, because other clubs will be looking, and I'm telling you, Man City, Pep's definitely going to be watching as well. So it's exciting times for Arsenal Football Club, in my opinion.
For real. And then speaking of the opposite, the other team in North London, Luke saying dry January is out the window after that first half. I forgot about dry January, actually. Yeah, that was in the first half to remember. And if you basically,
they need to buy. They got to buy desperately. You're seeing the level now.
But the best case scenario in terms of this game is to win the second half, isn't it? And if is to win this game.
I think if they get a goal and they take a 2-1 to White Hart Lane, I think they'll be happy with that, especially with that first half performance.
Yeah,
But
for real.
so because the scoreline, it's only 2-0. I think if Chelsea go in with 3 or 4, I think Chelsea come out and score another couple. But that performance is not great. Tottenham are playing like Man United. I have to be honest at this moment in time. That's how bad it is.
Here we go. This is how bad it is. Doherty's off. So look, Doherty is just having a nightmare.
Is that Ndombele?
Yeah. Doherty
But
off and Ndombele on.
This is the thing, Tereak. How much quality we don't really know how good these guys are. Like, I don't know how good Doherty is. From what I've heard, he's not had a successful career at Spurs, but that's just from what I've heard. So that kind of tells you who's scouting for these guys, who's buying these players.
But it's difficult because obviously, like with Doherty, he suited a system. He was a system player at Wolves. He was excellent. He was one of the best wing backs in the league. But do you know, like as we talk about, system players already, Spurs starting off much better in the Chelsea box. But when we talk about system players, like Conte, how he got the best out of Alonso and Victor Moses. That's literally the situation that happened with Doherty at Wolves. He was scoring quite a few goals. He was creating. He was a problem, Matt Doherty, but he just looks a shadow of himself. And yeah, it's one of them ones. It was the right place, right time at Wolves. And literally, Matt Doherty came from League One with Wolves, all the way from League One into the Premier League. So I've got to give him some respect for that. And he's a gooner as well, ladies and gents.
I think within that Conte system, he should be good because that's the system they played at Wolves.
He should be. Yeah, I think you're right. He should be. And it's a lot of running and it's quite pragmatic in a sense. So, but yeah, the Spurs have started off much better in this second half. Here's Kane now on the edge. Ooh, I'm in the 46th minute, 50th second, but Chelsea are dealing with it.
I'm 40 seconds behind you.
40 seconds.
I'm still surprised Son signed that contract. I'm really surprised because I think he could have gone anywhere.
Yeah. I think he's just been picked up way more than his talent show. But I'm okay being wrong, but I won't ever be convinced that Pirlo was anything better than good. I would buy Busquets for United right now. Yeah, for sure. Busquets was amazing. Busquets switched play, defense to attack, sublime. Casey, you're speaking real sense. I know you're always trying to get me to buy it in the chat, but this is class.
Carrick was a passer. That's what he was. He was a passer. He had a good pass on him. That's what Carrick was, and he worked hard, and I think that helped him a lot.
Busquets was Busquets was in terms of transition. He was the best at it. So whenever the ball's turned over, he's the best at reading it, breaking it down, transitioning it. Whether he's from attack to defense or defense to attack, he was quality, man. But yeah, and
they were doing it with one pass. Just one pass.
One pass. Yeah.
They were doing it with one pass. They weren't controlling the ball. They're looking. They already knew where the ball was gonna go, and that's football IQ. When you know where your player is gonna be before the player is there, you make that pass knowing full well that the player will be there, and they were on a different level, man. They really were. It was beautiful to watch. Poetry in motion.
For real, man. Free kick for Spurs on a dangerous area here, and we know it's Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. Sorry, a little bit of a shade there. Haaland going Barca, Mbappe. Who knows? Who knows with Barcelona situation right now.
That's what worries me because we're losing, these potentially the next Ballon d'Or winners, and we can't attract them to our league, and I don't understand why. It does worry me.
Can I tell you a little bit of a hot take? I think Haaland to Barcelona, flop. Next, Zlatan Ibrahimovic right there. I just don't think
how can they afford him? And has Ferran Torres has he been registered with La Liga? Because I got told that he's not allowed to register. So how many players are they going to have to get rid of before they can register him? It's mad. It's absolutely mad what's going on at Barcelona.
I know they can't. They have to get rid of. I know they have to get rid of at least one player before they can register him. Biscuits. Biscuits is an immense player. It's clearly an immense player. Xavi and Iniesta were allowed to do what they did because of him. But again, Biscuits, I could be convinced on. Pirlo, nah.
I think when you look at the time of when Pirlo played, it was a different time as well, wasn't it? And I think football has changed then. But in their time, I think Pirlo was quality.
Yeah. See, Seedorf, he's a box-to-box midfielder and attacking midfielder, whereas these guys,
quality.
They were quite, yeah, definitely. He's the only player to win 3 different Champions Leagues. Ajax,
I think so.
AC Milan and Real Madrid. Yeah, 3 different clubs.
Ooh, I think he might have played with. I think he played with Marcel Desailly.
Bro, Saul's turning up. You know, Saul's turned up.
He's played well today.
He's been excellent. Look at this. Set you off on another break. Timo Werner and Davinson Sanchez. That looks like an accident.
I expect this all the time, Tereak. Listen, this should be normal. I don't expect mediocrity.
Yeah,
no, he's played well. It's just how tough the teams are in the Premier League. It's going to take time, isn't it? And it's one of them like
Saul and Partey turning up in the same week. Who would have thought it?
I can't believe Saul and Jorginho are playing well together.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? No Conte, no Kovacic.
Well played, lad.
Honestly, played. That's quality, isn't it?
Well played, so that's Atletico Madrid at his best. That's what we need more of.
Yeah. Oh, look at this now, winning the ball back up high. Is the edge? I'm lucky. I played Pirlo over Bruno. The pass it. Yeah, 100% Paxton. Yeah, you if you die for a Pirlo right now, Clarence Seedorf won. Yeah, there it is. 3 different Champions Leagues. It was in the chat. I didn't even see it. Ajax, AC Milan, and Real Madrid. Arsenal in a couple of seasons when the youth like Saka goes from good to great. He gets good. I
don't know if Saka's going to go to good from great. I think Martinelli has got potential from good to great.
What makes you think that?
I think he only goes up one more level. I think that's it. I think Saka's going to be, I think Saka's going to be the next Sterling. I don't think he's going to get above Sterling. I think Sterling's a good player, but you know when Sterling and Sane were at City, you knew who the better player was. It was Sane.
I think Saka's more of a Sane though. If you watch him play, he's efficient. He's more efficient with the ball than like Sterling.
But it's still early, isn't it? Because he's still developing, and
do you know what, Hanif? What about this? You could probably say Martinelli's more of a Sterling. I think he's like. I'm not saying he's better.
No, he's technically better. He's technically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's technically better. Like he's more technically secure. But Saka is one of the most technically secure right wingers in the league. But how many times do you see Saka? Like lose the ball. He doesn't do a Rashford.
I don't think he loses the ball, but I think he's. And I don't want to come across this bad because I do like Saka a lot. I do think he's a bit of a pace merchant.
What?
Sometimes I don't think so? Do you know how I think he needs a bit more. What I want to see from him is, you know what? Even though he's not showing it at the moment, he needs to show a level of. He needs to improve his creativity aspect for Arsenal. I think that'll take him up to another level. Because when you look at Sancho when he was at Dortmund, not at United, I think if he gets that into his game where you look at he can create, he can shoot, he can score, and he can get past the player, and that's me being harsh on him.
Yeah.
But I don't. At this moment in time, I think Martinelli has got a higher ceiling. But we don't know yet. We don't know. It's still early. But obviously, I think Smith Rowe could be the one. He could be really, really good.
Yeah.
So
Henny,
it's interesting.
I've got personal bias towards Saka anyway, because I think this guy is amazing. And do you know what sets him above? Do you know what sets him above the likes of Smith Rowe and Martinelli? It's just the head on his shoulders. He's so mature. He plays like he's a 70, he plays like he's a 27-year-old. The guy makes do you know what? He makes right decisions, but he's poor execution in the final third. But that is starting to come alive.
That'll come within. Give him 3 to 5. Give him 3 to 5 years, because I think doing that in the Premier League is. I think what he's doing now, right? He should be doing like in a couple of years. He's better than what probably Arsenal thought he was, and he's proving it as well. But I just think I look at Martinelli, look at Smith Rowe, and you know what? I think you've got an amazing front row, and Gabriel. I think, even though he's a bit crazy the other day, I think he's underrated. I think he's underrated, but
look, you're back in my good books now.
I think someone like Tony Adams or someone, so one of your great defenders back in the day. I think if they could get a hold of him and just improve like certain just certain aspects of his game, I think he goes up levels. For me, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets up to Marcel Desailly level. I think he's got it in him, but it's just one of those things. But for me, Tomiyasu for me is your favorite. He's my favorite transfer for you guys.
Yeah,
I think he's for his position, he's immense. He's absolutely immense.
Moss saying that's why I want Wijnaldum on loan, stop playing Xhaka. If Wijnaldum came, I don't think he comes in ahead of Xhaka, by the way. I wouldn't see that happening. I think he'd be more of a Partey rotational replacement. He would be.
I'm surprised Liverpool haven't gone in for him again. I'm really surprised.
They don't pay big wages. They wouldn't be able to afford his wages on loan. I mean, they have a very strict wage structure, though, don't they? Liverpool do. Club titles huge. International football slightly different. 100%. I agree. Saka, my goodness, what a player he already is.
The thing about Saka is, unfortunately, he's already faced and I think this isn't a positive. He's already faced adversity from the people who are supposed to sort of support him, and I think that'll make him stronger in the long run. England fans hating on him. Yeah. And I think the hate he received, I think that'll make him into a better player, because he knows that he's got something to prove.
Exactly. Big up yourself, Mr. 200. Doherty is a gooner. He can never bring himself to play well to Tottenham. You know that, Mr. 200. You always try and tease me. I know you do. Of course you do. Got Riley Taylor, Chelsea fan, linesman, drunk on Wednesday. Oh, linesman. Enjoy yourself, Riley, man. Hope you're having a good one. I could switch defense to attack role. Is it about Smith Rowe? Is it? I don't know. Big up yourself, know-how. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're keeping safe, man. And yeah, it's not been a great moment for you, another United fan. But I hope you well. And you know what? I'm enjoying this game. Spurs losing, and yeah, they're just creating more mistakes. And Havertz is in the box. Is Timo Werner going to grab himself a goal? Of course not.
Never say never.
Oh no! Famous last words. Sowell. Look at Don Sowell winning it high up again. You'll get to this. It was in the 58th minute. And Don Sowell's having that much of a good game. He tries to do an Eddie Nketiah flick at the near post. Eddie Nketiah's trademark finish.
What are your thoughts on Nketiah?
Oh, it's a good question. I like that one. Thanks for bringing that up, because for me, I'd keep him as a third choice striker. I think he'd be a good third choice striker. Yeah, I like him as a third choice. I think he's just a pure goal scorer. He's an old-fashioned number 9, fox in the box, but he's very good at sensing danger. It's no coincidence he picks up the goals he does, and I don't think he scored a goal past the penalty spot, before the penalty spot. So that says a lot about his game. He's good at pressing, but yeah, I think he gets a bit of criticism. What's your thoughts on him? from what you've seen?
I think, remember a couple of years ago, he went to Leeds. I think they were in the Championship, and he never really got a run
Yeah,
out. And I just thought, and I think you guys called him back, and I just thought, you
yeah.
know what, this kid, right? He's gone. He's got to prove himself, and we've not really seen him. And I think he gets such a hard time that we've not. He doesn't get game time, regular game time, and as a result of that, how is a player supposed to improve? And
Mm.
I think he's one that if someone like I think if Graham Potter could get a hold of him in that system,
Oh, that's a
would
good
be
shout.
very, very interesting.
You know my love for
Um,
G Pots.
yeah, and for me, I think for his own career, and I say this a lot about a lot of Chelsea youngsters as well. It's like
Yeah,
go out on loan, like Conor Gallagher's gone out on loan. Start your careers. Let's see what you guys can do.
yeah. Did you say something like this before? Big up yourself, Ryan, again, man. He said, I think Martinelli should be up front in a 9. Putting him on the wings makes him knackered and he loses a bit of that tiny bit of accuracy. He's up top. If he's up top, he'll be lethal. I've got my thoughts on that. I'll let you say yours first, then Eve.
What I would do. I think what Arsenal should do with if they've got their front three, I think they should switch around a lot. I'd love to see like a switcheroo between them three, and just to
Like what
see
you,
like I think.
a bit like what you
But
say.
if you play number 9, I would say against certain teams he would look good, but I don't think against the top teams he would look good because I don't. For me, I'd like to see it, but maybe at the back end of games when you're winning, not
Yeah.
when you're not at the beginning of games because I don't think he's fully developed as a young lad. And also, you want to look after him a little bit as well. You don't want to lose him now because if
I
you
get
lose
you.
him now for another injury, I don't know if you remember Diaby, such a talented player. I
Yeah.
don't want him to be I don't want him to be the Brazilian Diaby because this kid's got a lot of talent, but he still needs to be looked after just to make sure. And I think playing number 9, I just don't think he's ready yet. But I think he could be in a few years. But
Yeah.
let's be honest, the only thing you can criticize is his finishing. That's the only thing you can criticize. Let's
What,
be honest.
Martinelli?
Yeah, that's the
Even that. Nah, I don't think. I think his finishing's quite top quality, Martinelli.
no,
Listen,
not when
not
you
one,
look at no, not when I don't think
one
he's there.
game.
Yeah, I think, but if you look at what he did at Old Trafford, he made that into Old Trafford looked like his back garden. I just thought this kid's at home. He's
Yeah.
literally at home here, and
I think
he
Martinelli's a
excites
class
you.
finisher, bro. Honestly,
He
like,
excites you. I think
yeah,
I wouldn't say class finisher. I think it's decent, but I think there's more. I think the good thing is there's more to come from these youngsters, and I think they just need to be nurtured and given time. I think Arteta is the man. Oh, come on, Kane, get up. The guy's
I've,
half his size, man, and he still went
yeah.
down.
Has your earphones died?
No.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's better. Oh, because I could hear an echo. I think you got your mic on there on that one in particular.
All right.
But yeah, it sounds a lot more clearer now. But back on this point, Martinelli should play up front. I think no, because Martinelli on that left, he receives the ball a lot more. When you're playing as a number 9, a lot of your game is back to goal. So if the goal's behind me there, as a number 9, your back is to the goal majority of the time. The only time that you're facing forward is when on a counter attack or if a ball's being crossed into the box. Martinelli will get a lot more touches on the ball from the left wing, and that's where we see him when he's dribbling and driving. Look what he did to Cancelo on the weekend. If you put Martinelli as a 9, he'll have to come in and be a bit more robust, like a Lacazette, like what you see Lacazette does, half turn. And then in the central areas, it's more condensed, and you're coming up against stronger and physical players. And Martinelli, Aaron Ramsdale said it in Ben Foster's podcast himself, and I've heard Mikel Arteta say it. He needs to get himself physically there. That's the only thing in his game that really needs to improve, his physicality. So that's why keeping him out on that left, I think, is much better. I think he's got the finishing ability to be as a 9. But if we look nowadays, Salah's got the finishing ability to be a 9, but if you take Salah, if you put Salah in that 9 position, you're taking a lot out of his game, aren't you?
I think these positions of 9s and all that, it doesn't make a difference now. These
Spot
wingers are Salah, Mane, when he does it. These wingers are now these guys are the number 9s now. They're the true, because they're the ones that are getting the goals and the assists. Whoever's producing the numbers, they're the ones that are the true number 9s. This
For
number
real.
9 thing is old school now. We need to be looking at what the top teams are doing. So why does Salah get so many goals? Because of the angle he creates, because of the angle he's at, and as a result of that angle, it gives you more options.
Exactly. Know-how, 100,000%. I have to say, I love Saka. I would take him over Squealish. You mean
Mr. Party Man?
Yeah, he does love a party. Yes, I would take him over Grealish all day. He basically does what Grealish does, but actually has a bit more end product. That's what it is. Do you know how they do that little dribble? Like if it seems like the ball's a bit behind them and they drag their leg a bit. Do you know like that? You know what I'm on about? And then that's how they draw free kicks.
If Grealish is worth 100, what's Martinelli worth then? Oof. What's Saka worth? It's what 200 million? It's madness. It's absolutely madness.
Exactly. It's all positive. ESR, Erdegaard, Saka, the Arsenal faithful must be gleaming with optimism. We've spoken a lot about Arsenal, haven't it? In a work meeting, as the game been first half, Rich, it's been all Chelsea. Yeah. They're deservedly 2-0 up. Should be more. Lukaku had a chance to score. He's not done anything in the second half. Spurs have come out better, but I'd still say Chelsea have been the better side. It's probably been more even in the second half. I wouldn't say it's been all Spurs or anything like that, but Lukaku's done nothing in the second half.
Werner, you got to do better than that. Oh, this is the thing about you do everything right. You can't score, bro. Look at that pass by Ziyech. He's got to start all the games.
Erdegaard has the highest football intelligence, 100%. Totally agree with that. B&B. That's a comment. That's a big comment. That is.
We were discussing. I think it was before Odegaard signed. The potential of James Maddison coming to Arsenal, and I just said, Ago is one of those players that dips in and out of form, and you're gonna pay crazy money,
80 mil,
and you got to pay Leicester want big money for their players, but that CDM I would definitely take. I'd definitely take him.
Yeah, for real. Nketiah for me. Nketiah, because we know, I feel like I don't think there's going to be much improvement with Nketiah from now until like his peak in his career. But Balogun, the unknown, it's probably a bit of that, the unknown that we don't know with Balogun and what he could reach. So yeah, I'd say Nketiah I'd sell. Big up yourself, Ivor. I knew he. Oh, look at
big up, Ivor. Big up.
He's trying to catch
it with your chest. Say it with your chest down.
Hey, don't say it out loud. Break down the name in your head. He's trying to catch you out. He's done it before. He's done it before. Yeah, catch you out again. Big up yourself, though, Ivor. Appreciate you. B&B, you're dead right. Spot on. A Paxton, but Balogun's coming to the Borough. B&B says don't think either are at it. Both can go. I think Balogun needs games. We've seen Nketiah play more minutes than Balogun though. Yeah,
Tereak, I was gonna ask you. Your lads that are out on loan. Is there one that you think needs to be in the first team next season?
Saliba, William Saliba. That's the one for me. I think he will. I have faith in Arteta. He knows what he's doing. Trust the process. But yeah, Saliba, that's the one. Do you know what? Because I love a Rolls Royce of a centre back. He's that 6'4", rapid, comfortable on the ball, pass like. Do you know someone who just looks like they're playing at like half the speed? And he can read the game. He's got the defensive know-how. He definitely has mistakes in him, but he's 21 for goodness sakes. What 21-year-old centre-back has not had errors in them? Do you know what I mean? I speak about centre-backs a lot of the time, Hanif, and I say centre-backs don't reach their peak until about 27, 28. That's
true.
We don't see the best of centre backs still then.
True.
And if you're a referee, most of the centre backs that you've played against in that division, they're probably more like 35.
Yeah, between 30 and 40, man. I've seen one centre back play at 55. He was just a fit lad. He was a fit. He was a beast. If he was 55, I was like, you're a beast. Honestly, yeah.
I know. I wouldn't
And he
mind
was rapid
in my games. I'm joking now, of course. I wouldn't mind you. I think you. Do you know what? I think you'd be all right. I think you'd be all right. What's the? Do you know what? I want to ask a question now. What's the most controversial decision you've made? Yeah, and you've known actually I've dropped a clanger here, but I have to go for it.
Yeah, it's when we're giving yellow cards to control the game. You don't want to, but you have to, and I feel like so bad because of the way the game's going, and I always feel that the yellow cards are like harsh on players. That's why they brought in the sin bin rule. Like I use it all the time.
Yeah.
So, but I always feel that I've got to book this guy. I've got to book this guy because he's just gone through him, even though it might be his first one and so on. But it's just to control the temperament. But in terms of controversy, I'd say my first season as reffing, because I didn't have the fitness and the positioning. Some of my penalties were mad. They were mad.
Really?
I look back and I was just like, "What are you doing, lad?" And now it's just one of those things where I'm very honest with the players, and I just say to them that, look, if I've not got a good position and you've gone down, I'm not going to give it. And I'll say it to you, mate. And they'll say, ref, why did you give that? I'll be honest with you, I didn't have the position. That's as simple as that.
I respect that a lot.
Because I remember when I didn't have assistants, I was just like, how could I call that when there'd be an assistant there? Think about it. I can't cover every single meter. So, you go from the edge of the box to the other edge of the box, and you make a calculated decision. And sometimes I just say to them, look, I'm not sure, so I'm going defensive. That's just what I'm doing. And I always say, what I say to centre backs is what I say to defence is this: if I think he's on, and you're playing a high line, you make up that ground. That's what I say to him. If I think he's on, so if you're going to play a high line, I don't have an assistant. If you play that high line, it might go against you. So you've got to make those yards up, not me, because you've made that decision, and you're going to ask. So I'll get shouted at, ref, that was offside. I'm like, I thought he was on. It's as simple as that. That's my answer. And they don't like it. And I'm just like, this is why I don't like the offside rule when you've got no assistants. It's mad, especially in junior football. But what we're seeing now is there's a lot more understanding because there's not enough refs, Tereak. It's unbelievable. It's got worse again. It's got really bad again.
I mean, like, really bad again. That's bad. Yeah, because I remember that there was not enough refs when I was younger either. But then it started to pick itself up, like as I was getting a bit older. But now, that's not good. Let's have a look. Look at Brush in the place. Big up T and Henry.
Big up Brush.
Love T always, Brush, man. Saka worth 200 million. Neymar, yes, because of English tax. He'd probably be 150, but then add about 50 million because he's English as well. Tereak, Jack Grealish is a fraud. I agree.
Sorry, go on.
I think he's because I know what you're going to say here. I think he's a fraud, but I think he still will probably come good at Man City. But I still won't think. I just don't think he's as good as people make out. What was you going to say there, Hanif?
I was going to say, look, he's a 40, 50 million pound player.
Yeah.
Now the value to Aston Villa was 100 million, and they put it in his contract. He put it in the contract. He was pretty smart about it. He did what Harry Kane didn't do. He put it in the contract. If someone pays 100 million for me, you got to let me go, or you got to let me at least talk to the club. And they paid the money. That was the value of Jack Grealish to Aston Villa. So because we know that it's not based, sometimes it's not even based on the market. It's the value to that particular club. Like Harry Maguire was 80 million. because United wanted to offer 40 initially, and they were just like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, it's quality. It's quality. And we'll just have to wait, and see, because if when you're taking them off Premier League clubs, you're going to pay big money for these players.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot,
Go on,
Saliba over 50 million. Why? I think that they'll rotate. I think what Arteta's trying to do is he's trying to find a good partner for Gabriel, someone that can complement Gabriel well. And I believe Ben White does that currently. I don't think Ben White is going to be like a top centre back. I think he'll always be a good centre back. He'll probably be an England international. If he gets 50 caps, then he's done well. But I think he'll be an all right player. I think he'll probably average for England probably about 20 to 30 caps.
I think you need to give Ben White a bit of time. We don't know what this is. I think he can. Some of the stuff when he brings the ball out, he does. He sometimes it's really good. Sometimes he just lacks that awareness, which I think comes with time, because it's a system that. It's a system thing. Because with Ben White, you don't really know, because we always look at the faults of players rather than thinking, he's a really good player, but some of the stuff he does with the ball when he comes out with it, he's basically an Arteta type of player.
Yeah, exactly. Rumor is that Hanif is by the front door so he can make a quick exit after shit.
It's the back door, actually.
You can sneak out of the back door then. Saliba and no, I don't want to do three at the back, man. Okay, hey Neve, can you? I've been trying to talk to Moss for ages about this. Can you tell him the pros and cons of a three at the back?
Listen, look, I think you lose an extra level of creativity and control. With three at the back, if you play a high line and you get caught, it does kind of cost you. And when you're looking at the type of football Arteta wants to play,
look at the football you're playing with four. Look, see, as soon as you move to a four at the back, you got more control. But carry on, sorry.
So, but when you play with 3-4-3, I think you lose that level of creativity, because I always like to see a player, a central attacking mid like Mesut Ozil, who can express himself, who can distribute the ball to the wingers and the striker or whoever, and I think it's very important. Yeah. So I think you need that, and I think you lose that when you play 3-4-3. But also your play, you're gonna expect more from your centre forward stroke forward wingers, because they're gonna have to work harder. They're gonna have to work a lot more as well. So it's it depends on what your preference is. Every manager is different, and the proof is in the pudding. Like Conte probably has got it the best, because he's got the trophies to back it up.
But whereas, you're right. But even then,
the thing is, in Europe, I've not seen a manager win the Champions League with three at the back. Roberto Di Matteo did it with 4-2-3-1. So it's one of them. I think you lose a level of creativity, and I like watching creative players. So it's one of them. It depends what the preference is, because what's his name? Graham Potter does it. He does it well, to be fair.
Well, he's changed it back to four now.
Yeah. So, but he's got no choice sometimes because of the personnel and depending on who they face. Yeah.
It's true. Is Kane being held hostage? Not anymore. It's his decision now. He's the one. Hey, B&B. I'm not going to be pandering to Kane, because he's the one who signed a ridiculous contract. Wow.
They paid him big. They paid him big money. He didn't like, these football players are on big money. Surely, right, when you're one of the best players of England, you want the best people around you in terms of a lawyer or someone who knows football in terms of contracts, and someone should have advised him, said, listen, we don't sign the contract if you're not given what you want.
Exactly. Before I even go into the next one, guys, the chat tonight has been popping. I've loved it. I've loved absolutely everything you guys have all put into the chat tonight. I just want to give you a massive appreciation, because you guys have made it so enjoyable for me and Hanif to sit here, chat football, watch a game. Second half's been a bit all right, but the chat's been class. And I agree with PM here. It's not what Saka is worth; it is how much how much we would need to get an upgrade on him. I
I
totally
think
agree.
I don't think anybody can replace a Saka. Like Chelsea have never replaced Hazard, so it's one of them, isn't it? You're never going to replace him. You're gonna hopefully try and look for another player who's got certain resemblances, but you're never going to replace a top quality player who's come through your youth system, in my opinion.
Exactly. Free Harry. Yeah, free Harry. There's a situation that went on Twitter with Liverpool fans, you see, and yeah, a lot of these people who are the Arsenal fans the community with, there's a situation on Twitter where they were attacking. Yeah, one of them, someone who's on YouTube, who is a massive inspiration for me for doing this, and it's just completely wrong, going personal. He thought that the game. Do you know what we were talking about in the Don stream about the game should have been carrying on? He posted that on Twitter. He said his reasons why, and then people started attacking him, bringing up like old tweets from like 2012, and forging tweets and stuff, saying he said this and that. And yeah, Twitter's horrible, man. Twitter's a horrible place.
I think one of the things that people need to learn is, they'll forgive and move on, and cut down the hate, and smile and banter and enjoy your lives, because that's what this is all about. It's not about attacking people. Everyone's got different opinions. Tottenham fans are going to say Harry Kane's the best in the world, but even though they might be wrong, it's how's that a foul? It's one of them. I just think people should be happy and just find something that they enjoy doing or watching, and just be happy and enjoy your life, because if not, you're a bit sad, aren't you? Really, stop the hate, man. Stop the hate.
Right, Moss. Yeah, you've said Conte's done free at the back, and you said we've got the personnel. I think we have this personnel at centre back, but then guess what? All right, so we play Gabriel Saliba and Ben White. Who's the backups? We have Holding and what? You trust Mari, and that's it.
I like Mari. I don't think he's that bad.
I think he's all right. I think he's a decent player, but like if he's your bench centre back, then and you're trying to compete for titles, I think that's a problem. Also, your boy, where does Ødegaard play?
That's a very good question. That is nowhere. You can't play him anywhere.
No,
unless you play him alongside, because where does Ziyech play for Chelsea? He plays out wide, and I don't like it. I like him centrally, but that's my personal opinion. People, my mate who used to watch a lot of Ajax, he goes, "Oh, he can play on the wing." I'm just like, you're stifling him, because he only has one option.
Yeah.
He only has one option in terms of getting it in the box. But if you're centrally positioned, you've got multiple options. So I just think I think if you play 3-4-3 or three at the back, I think you're reducing a lot of creativity, and and a lot of creative players are already punished, because football's becoming a very athlete-centric sport, and we're losing that skill and that sexiness to football.
It's true. Also, B&B, it does kind of drop it to a 3, kind of, but Tomiyasu is very high up the pitch when he plays as well. Tomiyasu's basically a right back, like a newish. He's not as good. He does go forward a lot, Tomiyasu does. He just doesn't really generally cross the ball a lot, because I don't think he's crossing. He's that good, but what he brings to the Arsenal side, I don't need his crossing to be good, because he brings us stability. And as you said, Hanif, when you play 3 at the back, you're taking an extra midfielder out, which also means that you lose control. That's that C word that we need at Arsenal. If you're going to be the best and you're going to win, you need control of a football match, don't you?
100%. It's the Liverpool and Chelsea game. I didn't think Chelsea had any control when it was going end to end second half. It was good to watch, but you're just like, bloody hell, the lads need to get a grip of this game, and we couldn't, because Liverpool were going for it. And these are the deficiencies of playing 4-3-3 as well. When you're playing 4-3-3, if you don't have control in the middle, then you can get countered really easily. And this is the thing about Liverpool: when they come up against top sides, they know that their fullback area, especially Trent's side, is very weak because it's always open for a counter. That's why everyone targets that. It's not because of Trent's inabilities. It's because Trent going forward is far better for Liverpool, and I bet he contributes to about 40% of Liverpool's goals and assists. So
yeah, exactly.
he's on a different. He's playing like a central attacking midfield from right back.
Yeah,
That's how I would say it. And those are very rare players, very rare.
Yeah, for real. I can't lie. Yeah, I can't lie. Hanif, Lukaku's not very good, is he?
I think the pressure today, and after coming back, I think he's got to still prove himself. He's not been great in the box, but he has worked hard in terms of coming back and tackling, and I think that's the most we can ask for at this moment in time. I think that interview and the way it's been reported, and he's going to receive a lot of backlash and a lot of hate, and that's just something he's going to have to deal with.
Exactly. And Paxton says Conte did it well, but that's one manager who specializes in that. Arteta, it would take a while to get 100% correct. Exactly. And Moss is saying not in every match, just versus top sides and Europe. Well, if we get to where we want to be, we could be a top side if we do things in the right way, sign the right players, get a world-class midfielder, get a striker or someone who plays centrally who can help. Do you know what I mean? Who adds that into the game, but mainly a world-class centre midfielder, and we won't need to play that formation. Don't you think as world-class CDM, someone like a Rodri, who can win the ball up high, who can basically be
how's Ben Davies not got a yellow for that?
I know.
Honestly, I'm like, I don't want to get players sent off, but how's that not a yellow card? It doesn't make any sense.
I know. It's true.
But
the referee
listen, I'll be honest with you. Arteta's not going to play three at the back. That's not his style.
Yeah.
That is not his style. That's not fluid football for him.
And speaking of fluid, B&B, hey, formations are a bit of a myth as well, by the way. I know we spent a long time talking about it, but formations are a bit of a myth because football is so fluid nowadays. Players will pick up certain positions. Formations are only a thing out of possession. In possession, football's so fluid nowadays. Like, you couldn't tell me what formation City play with when they have the ball.
It's like two, and one of those two is the goalkeeper, one centre back, and the rest of them are rushing back because they're coming from attacking areas and the wing. So it's extremely fluid because the emphasis on attack and creating options is very, very high. And that's where football is now. We're basically playing like the NBA, but we don't get the output of in terms of goals because football's a different game.
It's not as high scoring sports.
And it's fascinating because it's a lot more attacking now, which will attract more people to watch it. No one wants to play defensive football all the time, and because that's what's hindered Italian football, in my opinion.
Hey, so when you get to the 87th minute and about 25th second, watch what Brian Hill does there. But here's Chelsea though. Lukaku, he's awful. Oh man. But yeah, have you seen it yet? Brian Hill.
I'm on 87. I'm on 87 minutes now.
Yeah, watch what Brian Hill does to Pulisic here. It's dirty. It's dirty. It's absolutely disgusting when you see it. That guy that you was talking about as well, asking about questions.
He's supposed to be high. He's supposed to be highly rated from Spain, I think. Yeah. Oh, he did it. Yeah, absolutely. He's supposed to be very highly rated.
Yeah,
because he was one of because I was speaking to this guy. He was talking to me about Spanish football. He goes, "Oh, watch out for this lad called Brian Gill." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "He's going to Tottenham," and I'm like, "Oh, that's not good." But
definitely don't want Saka as a wing back. By the way, you're taking so much from his game when he plays at wing back. Nah, man, you're applying such defensive responsibility Like going back, we don't need we defend with a 4 at the back anyway, so we're all right because KT's got the legs.
you could argue, right, if there was a possibility to get a world class left mid or left wing, and you're just like, okay, could we move Saka back to left back, because Saka is such a good and versatile player. He could possibly be a world beater at that position. Obviously, you've got two top quality
Defensively,
players.
he'd be
Yeah,
poor,
defense.
man.
Yeah, I know, but that comes with time, doesn't it? But at the moment, you've got to play him like a winger because he's flourishing, and I think
Also,
Arteta knows that.
I don't think it just takes time as well, bro. I think it takes to be a defender. You have to have a defensive know-how, and do you
Yeah,
know, like
true.
even like positioning yourself for aerial battles, when to how to head the ball. Do you know when we talk about Wan-Bissaka? In theory, when you say Wan-Bissaka would be good as a third centre back, in theory, yes, but in practicality, no. Because one, his aerial duels, he's poor in aerial duels, and if you're in a central position, a lot of the
Yeah.
time you face it. Like that's like if the ball was playing on the ground all the time, I think you're right. But when they chuck balls in the air against a striker like, I don't know, Harry Kane, Ivan Toney, it'd be an absolute mess. And that's the same with Saka. Like these players would pull themselves. Sorry, Siri's chatting to me, man. So, and yeah, you take a little bit going forward from him as well, man. I just want to keep him as high up the pitch, occupying defenders. And look, when Saka plays, he automatically gets he gets two players sucking into him at least. Did you watch the West Ham game? He had three. Arthur Masuaku,
I think yeah, but that's David Moyes though. He's always going to stifle your wingers, isn't he? Because he knows one player's not enough, so he'll have to get like is it Suchek and somebody else to he'll have to go and support they'll have to support the wing the fullbacks, because they know when it's one on one, these youngsters they're going to get past our fullbacks. And David Moyes, he plays good defensive football. He plays good shape, so defensively, that's why he's been so successful at West Ham.
Exactly. I think this is a good shout. I think if it's done right by Arsenal in 2020, by 2025, Arsenal will be a top 3 Prem team. And that's scary thing that Arteta just needs to bring in the right experienced players like strikers, etc. I think you could be, because I think we could be third and Chelsea and Man City would be second. I think Chelsea and Man City will always be constant in the top because of how much money that you guys spend and the way that you run the clubs, and in terms of transfers, recruitment, and even the way that you like if you drop out one season, you'd sack a manager until you get there. Whereas Liverpool, they're doing a bit more of a self-sustainable like cycle, but cyclic manner in terms of the manager. Like once Jurgen Klopp leaves, they'll do well to get someone at a similar level. And then players like Salah, Mane, Van Dijk, they're all around the same age, Fabinho. So then that's when Arsenal step into it. So I think you're right there, Paxton. What about you? Do you think Chelsea and Man City will always be in and about?
I hope not. I hope the other clubs get closer. I'd like to see a top 10 eventually. I'd like to see 10 teams competing for the top position. You're right, Matt. And that's what I'd like to see. But I think Chelsea and City will obviously be part of the top 4. I think depending on who your managers are and the style of play, and it'll be interesting to see how where football is in 10 years' time, because you can see now Pep is changing it, is revolutionizing it with utility players to a certain degree, and players are playing in every position now. And he's basically proving that football players are extremely intelligent people and they can play wherever they want. It's not about this guy's a center mid, this guy's a striker. No, you should all be able to do certain aspects of the role, and this is the expectation, because we're playing these players a lot more money. So surely the expectation should be higher in terms of your technical ability then. So
yeah, Lukaku again, man. But big up yourself, Matt, man, my Irish brother, Jamaican. You know, another one. We've got Casey in here as well. You know how the Jamaicans.
I'd love to listen to his accent.
Yeah, he's been on Richie's channel. He's been on Richie's channel for Crystal Palace Everton preview. What do you guys think of the current situation at Everton? Rafa under pressure, but the club has finally brought in 2 young fullbacks in Mikalenko and Nathan Patterson, and apparently bringing in 2 more in a winger and a striker or midfielder. Do you see? I'm going to give my point first because I really think you should, like, Matt, I think you've been quite good in terms of this. Like, I think you really do need to give Rafa time. You're not going to get many better managers than Rafa Benitez out there, who's experienced. He doesn't play the most attractive football, but if you trust this manager and you back him in the right way, the game has just finished 2-0, by the way, just before I go further into it. 2-0 to Chelsea. Game, set, and match. Bit more comfortable than we thought. We'll get Hanif's thoughts into it as well as this. But back Rafa, the transfers he's had to deal with in the summer. He had to sign 2 million worth in Gray and free Andros Townsend, and he's having to deal with like players leaving and stuff, and then Calvert-Lewin's future's uncertain and those things there. If you can back this manager and give him the right infrastructure, you'll be all right. Trust me, you'll be fine. He'll be doing David Moyes 2.0 for however long he decides to stay. I believe so anyway, because hey, Newcastle wish they had Rafa now. Wish they had Rafa to see this rebuild. What about yourself, Hanif? Do you agree or disagree?
I think before Rafa took the job, when you look at that Everton team, it's a bottom half Premier League team. I don't think it's that good personally. I think there's one or two decent players there. I just want to know what the situation regarding Luka Dean and Rafa, what happened there, why did it break down? I think that's something that needs to be, shared amongst the Evertonians. In terms of Everton, bringing in two fullbacks, that's really good because is it Seamus Coleman? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He needed replacing 2 or 3 years ago. And the way the game is now, you need to bring in these dynamic attacking fullbacks who've got the ability to get up and down the pitch and to support the strikers and make those overlap and those underlap runs. They do need a striker because Rondon obviously is a short-term thing. But what could Rafa do? He was looking for a striker on a free, all he could do was, he was so desperate. He's like, right, we got to call Rondon. There's nobody else available. So look at his wage budget. Evertonians have to ask themselves, why is the wage budget 2 million? Why would you bring a manager in and only offer him £2 million? So he's walked into a situation at Everton and it requires time. Plus, they've suffered a lot of injuries. So if you're telling me, what's Rafa supposed to do when a lot of your top players, especially like Calvert-Lewin, he's injured? So his main striker's out. So what are you providing him with? So if you're not going to provide him with quality additions and he has to rebuild that team, he's going to take time. And unfortunately, Evertonians think they have a team that can be in the Europa League, but they really don't. They're 10 years away, Tereak. And I'm not joking. They're 10 years away. He might be able to get him to a top half finish, but I'll be honest with you, give him 2 years, he'll stabilize the club, he'll probably get him into the top half, but that probably won't be good enough for Everton fans who their neighbours are Liverpool and they want success as well. And I think Everton are like Spurs. Go for a trophy, for goodness sake. When was the last time you won something? And give Rafa time.
It's not that easy to win, though, Hanif. When you got Chelsea and Man City, you met the final of every competition every year.
I understand that, but I think if you balanced it out, I think some of the teams at the bottom end of the Premier League could win a competition. I think it's possible. I think it really is.
I don't, and you know why? Because when you come up against monsters like City, like I don't think we like, if we look at the last how many reseasons,
not City, but I understand, but I think it's possible with a manager like Rafa. I really rate Rafa. I think he's extremely underrated. Look at his CV. The guy won La Liga with Valencia. Come on, nobody remembers that. He's won a trophy with Chelsea as well, and the job he did at Newcastle was amazing. Fair enough, it didn't work out well for him at Napoli, I think, wherever he was. But I just think if they get another manager, they're gonna get relegated or they're gonna be in that dogfight again and again.
Aren't easy though, Hanif.
No, they're not. No,
because Leicester won a league title before they won a cup. Like, that shows you. But because basically the reason, obviously, that an anomaly of a season, but to win a cup competition, you're having to still compete in the Premier League whatever your objectives are in the Premier League, and then still managed to win a cup, which is hard. It's difficult.
Yeah, maybe but I'm thinking long term, Tariq. After 5-6 years, after he's rebuilt, there's not straight away that team, right, Tariq? Let's be honest with you. If you got it on paper, you just be like, okay, some of Arsenal's under threes probably could compete with it, and that's where Everton are, mate. They've not look. If you don't have the right structure, you end up falling into that bottom 6, bottom 7, and then you ask yourself, why is our club there? And Everton are not run properly, and I think their director of football's left them because he didn't do a good job, or he was sacked. So they need to make sure that, if you don't have the right structure, you're in trouble. You really are in trouble. And look at Newcastle United are a prime example of that. And they've been bought out by the Saudis and stuff. I get that. But before that, when Rafa was there and Steve Bruce, they secured survival. Tariq, let your mum know the Blues won.
Well, Everton just not run correctly. I totally agree with you there. And let me just read out Matt's comment, and then we'll wrap it up. And then you'll give us your thoughts on the game, and then we'll wrap things up there. Rafa has had to deal with five previous managers' dross and terrible recruitment. He seems to be sorting the financial side of it, which is good. But as an ex-Liverpool manager and only 6 out of 36, he's under massive pressure, and I actually think Everton can't afford to sack him. Everton's expectations are higher than reality. I think I agree with all of that. And then just to quickly add a little bit of a caveat onto the ex-manager thing. I know it's not easy because if football is an emotional game, take that aside. Yeah, you wouldn't be blaming him. If he wasn't an ex-Liverpool manager, you wouldn't be blaming him for the struggles you're in right now. Let me just say that. And I don't think you are. This is the year. This year he's sorting out the team and squad and get rid of the dross. But if Rafa doesn't get things quickly going next season, he'll be sacked very quickly. Sounds like when we talk about Mikel Arteta, you might be in that similar situation where Arsenal were in a year ago. Everton's expectations were always challenged for Europe and have a good cup run. I do think you're in that. I do think you are in Arsenal last season when we were signing Willian on a free and those things there. So yeah. Just to wrap up now, Chelsea versus Tottenham, 2-0. Comfortable win for Chelsea. Hanif, how are you feeling?
Saul has landed, mate. Saul has landed. It's happened, and it was going to take time, and we can see the quality. I can't believe Saul and Jorginho played together. That's just immense in itself, and credit to them. I think 65 to 70% of that game was all Chelsea. And I think Spurs will be really disappointed that it took them 45 minutes to get going. They started putting the pressure on in the second half. Then, Conte needed to give them the boot, needed to give them the hair dry treatment. And he knows he's got a big job. And Spurs fans have to look at that squad and think, what is going on? Why are we that weak? Is it? And imagine if Spurs fans were like, it's a good thing Conte's got a reputation, because if not, Spurs fans would be like Everton fans and questioning the manager. Their squad is awful, Tariq. Honestly, You know what? You guys should be battering them on a regular. At home, obviously they'll be strong. I get it when they've got their own crowd behind them. But away from home today, I was expecting a lot better. I was expecting it to go to the trenches, and. Yeah. I'll be honest. For maybe like 10 minutes, I was a little bit concerned that we might concede. Apart from that,
yeah,
smooth sailing, and yeah, Chelsea did what they needed to do. Lukaku should have really scored, and we could have possibly. Werner does what he does best, but he does everything else well, but he can't score. I think we should. And Ziyech was fantastic today as well. I think the boys did really well defensively. Aspie, bless him, had a decent game, but Spurs were awful, and that's because Chelsea made them look awful. Saul did a lot of the dog work, played fantastic, got the ball up the pitch, and a well-deserved 2-0 win for Chelsea. And I'll be honest with you, Conte's got his work cut out. He needs 5 or 6 players there.
Exactly. For Conte to work his magic and just grind and be efficient, he needs signings, and that's why I didn't back Tottenham. And that's why I still currently, to this day, without any signings being made, I still back Arsenal to finish above Tottenham. And Saul, as you said, they've given Hakim Ziyech man of the match, and understandable because he was on fire creatively.
Yeah,
And
creative, wasn't he?
Yeah, he looked like he had a chip on his shoulder because of the whole Morocco situation. And I think that's what he had a point to prove. But Saul was the outstanding one for me. He was my man of the match. But that's because of like how his Chelsea career has been so far, and how he's just quickly turning around in just such a short space of time, and in one game, his first start, and you're like, oh, remember at the start though, Hanif, you was looking at that starting lineup and you was a bit scared. You was a bit.
Yeah, it was worrying because we've never. It seems as if credit to the manager. He's seen that Saul stepped up in training, and it's taken him time, and that's what the Premier League is. It takes you time when you're coming from La Liga or somewhere else. But we're now seeing it. We've seen the Atletico Madrid Saul, and if he carries this on until next season, until the end of the season, it'll be very interesting in terms of keeping him or not.
Exactly. It'll be cheap as well. On paper, Spurs are the 6th best team in the league, so it's a hard job for everyone and anyone.
Are they? Are they?
6th best squad in the league? Yeah.
6th?
Yeah. I'd say, yeah.
Hold on.
All right,
Go
top
on
three.
then.
All right, top 3. Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Yeah.
Right.
I'd put Man United above them. I'd put Man United. Man United should be. But, yeah, you could say Arsenal Man United. Yeah.
Arsenal, Man United.
And then 6, Spurs.
West Ham, Leicester.
I'd say Spurs is. I'd say.
As a squad, not where they are now. As a squad, like overall.
Yeah. Hey, Moss is saying 6th, 7th, or 8th. I think it's a toss-up. You'd probably say they edge West Ham because of Son and Kane. If you took Son and Kane out, yeah. No, I'd still say Spurs, but I'd still say Spurs because it's that Son and Kane factor, not for you.
No. As an overall, I'm looking at the whole squad here, and I think they've got firepower. I'll give them for that, but that's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah, okay.
I don't.
Still got Hugo Lloris. He's a good goalkeeper.
He's decent. He's okay. Put it this way: who's better at this moment in time? I think Ramsdale's a better keeper than Lloris.
That's why Arsenal are above him. Yeah.
So it's one. I don't think this Tottenham team is top 6 at this moment in time.
West Ham, but let's not forget, West Ham have a good first 11, but they don't necessarily have a good squad, and that's the same for Leicester as well.
But who do Tottenham have?
I know, but Tottenham,
apart from maybe Mora, that's it. Who else do they have?
I think Hojbjerg could play for Leicester or West Ham.
Yeah, and I put those 2 clubs above Tottenham.
Eric Dyer could play for. Eric Dyer could definitely play for Leicester. Leicester are awful at the back.
You listen. I'm taking realist lines. You're moving mad on that one. I'm telling you straight. You're moving. That's a sin bin in itself. You're moving mad at this moment in time. If they make no transfer signings,
Reguilon's
they are
decent.
In trouble. Yeah, Reguilon is, but he was on bench today. In terms of start, he's a quality player. But you mentioned 4 players, 4 or 5, 5. Yeah. Tariq, this is why.
But then you got to mention Harry Kane and Son in there as well, because that's the reason.
No, Harry Kane, Son, Lloris, Reguilon, and who else did you say?
Lloris, Harry Kane, Son, Reguilon.
Did you say Dyer?
No.
Okay, 5.
I did say
5.
And I'd say Dyer.
Oh my God! You think Dyer's decent?
No, I think he's good enough to play for West Ham or Leicester, I believe.
Who are West Ham centre backs at this moment in time?
No, okay. He wouldn't start for him. Okay.
Exactly. If he's not going to start for West Ham, come on.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
They've got half a team. That's how bad it is. Listen, if Tottenham aren't careful, they might be at the bottom end as well.
But that's why they're not in top 4 for me. Højbjerg could play for Man U. He definitely could, yeah.
100%. 100%.
I mean,
he's the type of player they need in front of that defense.
Hanif could play for Man U.
Yeah, I could. If they paid me those silly salaries, definitely.
Here he is, right, boy. Again. Oh, man, Woodsy, big up yourself, man. But thank you once again, Henny, for coming on, bro.
Anytime,
really
man.
Appreciate it. Let the people know where they can find you, man. Come on, people.
Yeah, as usual, Munzi Talks, Tereak Talks. I'm on Twitch sometimes with Realist. That's Realist_United, and then I have my Instagram page 532_pod. If you ask me to come on your podcasts or your YouTube channels, I'm available most of the time because I have no life and I love talking about the beautiful game. And and I will give my honest opinions on Chelsea and whoever else. And yeah, I'm kind of hating on Tottenham, but I just don't think it's a good side at the moment. I think Conte's got so much work to do. I didn't think it was this bad, Tereak. Honestly, I was expecting more than that. Were you not expecting more than that from Tottenham?
No, because you've heard me. You heard the text I sent you earlier. I said I don't rate this Tottenham side at all. I'm here defending them. I was here defending them 2 seconds ago.
That's such a bad performance, and I don't think, and I think Conte realizes that these guys don't understand what it's like to play in in cup competitions on the big stage when it matters. And I'm really worried for them. It's really worrying at this moment in time. These guys are not gonna. You know what? The Premier League is different, but if they don't show a bit more heart and determination, their own fans are gonna turn on them. They need to sort it out quick.
Hanif, I've got to get ready for bed.
No,
I've got to get ready for bed.
Yeah,
I'm having an early one. I got to be up early, gym tomorrow morning. So yeah, man, got to be there. And then
definitely.
People, thank you once again. Love for coming on and supporting me in the chat. Hey, look, Munzi saying he doesn't want Højbjerg. He's crap. Give him a tenner and he's yours, Højbjerg. Conte should have come United. Yeah, but United didn't want him, did they?
You got the godfather of Gegenpress.
I think you're right. I think you are right. But Paxton, this Munzi's got Maguire in the back of his shirt, so big up yourself, though, Munzi, man. Love to you every time. And big up everybody in the chat, everybody who came watching. We still got 6 people.
It's been amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It's like it's flown, hasn't it? It's absolutely flown.
Exactly. Love to everyone, man. Have a good one, and I'll catch you. I'll probably, I will be catching you tomorrow. I will be catching you all tomorrow. I know we won't be doing an art. Just stay tuned. There'll be an Arsenal podcast tomorrow, Arsenal one. So stay tuned, people.
You can join me if you want. I'm doing a transfer one.
Oh, are you? There you go. Yeah. Join Hanif as well. He's doing a transfer.
Yeah, I'm on Munzi Talks tomorrow. So yeah.
There you go. Love always, people. Have a good one, and God bless everyone.
Peace. God bless everyone. Take care. Peace.
Apologies, people. I just left the studio. See you later. Take care, people.